drivers and fans ready for action, hands up and ready to go. Let's take a look at our starting grid here tonight for Rockingham, the second race of the season. Taking the top spot for the pole here for season 11 at the Rock, it's Sentinel in the 88. To his outside row in row number 1, it's the 9 of Shane Terrian, with Gavin Rogers starting in 3rd. Colby DiCarlo going to be in 4th, with Thomas Green 5th. 6th, we find the 7 of Douglas Newbegin, with Jared Talmadge in 7th. 8th, we find the 15 of Ken Campbell, with Zach Hall in 9th. Then we're going to have another newcomer having his debut. It's Bladen Edwards, going to be starting in finishing off our top 10.
Tonight we're going for the number of cautions, most number of cautions in a race.
Champion and pick for Robert Morey Jr.
180 laps. I figure we can fit in.
Ross Tatum starting back in 13th in the 21.
40, 50 cautions.
Just to his outside of the number 67, starting 14th. Brian McCann will be starting in the 15th position, the number 8 in his split
43 cars.
In the 17th, just outside of him in the 16th position. Nick Crawford will be starting in 17th position. And
watch it go green.
Last week's winner will be starting or in 18th, just outside of Nick Crawford in the number 16 machine. Starting 19th will be Cedric Hunter in the Hello Kitty machine, and Pete Tart rocking his correct number 40 Dubby machine, starting in the 20th position.
In 21st, we've got a driver who's won here in the past, back the first time they ran in season 3, and that was when they was running the Gen 6 car. We got Brian P. Johnson starting in 21st position. Ryan Bird will start in 22nd for that 49. And 23rd, we find a Tanner in that 78 machine, and he will have an ally from Lucky Ducks in 24th and 77 of Drew Jua. Justin Malarkey will start in 25th position, with Nico Garcia in 26th. 27 is Ali Fonseca in the 24.
45.
Munatsi Major going to be in 28
Yes, sir.
in the 82, with Colin
45.
4 starting 29.
Brian, since you're last,
Finishing out
I don't think you should be anywhere close to the pack entering one.
Christopher Wade in the number 53, GT Irizarry on his outside, and then starting back in the 33rd place.
I didn't realize he got one.
To the outside of
Got
him
back
in
from the washroom.
34th, just outside of, or in 35th position, we have David Medina Sr. and Ryan Ferrero starting outside of him in 36th. 37th, Samuel S. Garcia and Andrew Medlin on the outside of him in the 38th position. 39th will be Josh.
4 tires over the wall.
Good luck,
Morales will round out our 40 drivers. And then the last 3, Ben Keeney starting 41st,
Watch
Vince
for wheel
42nd, and Ryan Kelly in the 43rd position.
Names 43 drivers off full field in race number 2. Here's your pre-race info. We're here at Rockingham. It's a mile-length course, but they say it's more like a short track for the style racing. We're going to see 4 corners. It's middle of the day in the noontime. Air temperature 79 degrees. Track temp though a very warm.
Yeah, we're going to need it.
15 Fahrenheit on track. Pace cars in pit road.
Gonna need it. Thank you, Derek. Didn't even make turn 1.
Drivers will stack it up. They're wrecking already before they even get to turn 1. The big one. Restart.
Wow.
Madness and caution. And as they're all trying to sneak their way through, well, it ain't expected to be before we got to start finish line for the first wreck. But Richard, there it is.
I told you we're going for 40 cautions tonight.
Start finish line to open up the second race of the season, and it just looked like it was wheel spin and just could not get that car under control, causing him to hit other drivers involved.
I need it.
A lot of drivers in this one open this race up.
Cody never mentioned the race that shall not be mentioned.
Trying to get an exact number of the driver.
Ron, I'm not really sure. I can't see it.
That's going to be Colby DiCarlo, who just, I think he restarted in the wrong gear, downshifted. Hope that was going to help, but it just didn't. And everyone accordioned into the madness and hard contacts all around. Luckily, it was on a restart. Some of these big blows aren't too bad, but you're seeing some drivers just ricocheting into one another, and it just felt like a never-ending wreck as drivers frustratedly trying to get back around as quickly as possible. No required damage, but expecting drivers to have to go into pit road to get service done. And curious on the fact of if we can maybe do a ride along with the 22 and see what was going on inside of that pit as he was trying to take off and go. Because Richard, it just looked like he was in the wrong gear for himself.
It does kind of look like he's just starting in the wrong gear. It looks like he's starting in
That gives my qualifying time.
which is typically the right gear to start at.
Everybody in front of me was pretty safe on the throttle. I don't know what happened to him on the outside.
Got up and went when the green flag flew, got a push from behind, and it just kind of ensued the.
Or maybe got a hit from behind.
From everybody spinning out. causing a lot of cars to get involved in that. But it's going to be a smart decision for a lot of these guys involved in this wreck. Go ahead, get down, get the damage all repaired, because you're going to have a long race. It looked like he did.
Yeah, it looks like a hit.
Yeah, I kind of saw you lap decking.
Just chasing it the whole time, and everyone's piling in. You just see how helpless of a feeling it was as other drivers piling in, and once you get straight, you just try to drive away.
Got 8 off that.
It again, and just a frustrating start.
All right,
Luckily,
man,
though,
we're
it's
going green
early in
next time.
tonight's race.
Oh, no, now I'm on the outside.
Laps here this evening. We're just on lap 3.
All right, did we learn our lesson?
You know, with
Yeah, hopefully they learn their lesson this
it
time.
does complicate things for drivers in the back, but with how large this field is here tonight, the Rock being just a mile, Richard, if you're collecting damage here early on, you don't have a lot of time to get that damage fixed and make sure to get all of the damage fixed before the pace car catches you and potentially could put you a lap down.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time to be on pit road and waiting for that damage to fix because this track is so short. But the good thing is, I mean, there is a lot of speed here, but aero isn't totally necessary. They're not reaching severe speed, so a little bit of damage isn't detrimental per se. So we'll see what a lot of these guys can do as we see. I believe that is the number 21 car's got.
Get ready.
Well, they're not decided just to keep track position. He's not going to go down and get his damage fixed. We'll see how that affects him in the longer run.
Well, we didn't get to turn 1 on the initial start. We'll see if this first restart enables us to get that far along. It's still going to be your top 2 up front, setting the whole track. Going to be the lead drivers. Noel's going to take the inside row. Behind them, going to be Gavin Rogers, Thomas Green. Pace car to hit road into the restart zone. And we are green for Richmond here tonight for race number 2. A much cleaner start throughout the field as Terry and already with a massive launch for the 9. He will take the early lead. And the driver that knows track position, having that clean air so important as the rest of the field already going to be side by side a few rows deep. And you got to be careful of if drivers decide to go 3 wide.
Got one outside. All clear, all clear.
Be wide here, but these
Got one
guys are
outside.
aggressive in this league, and they definitely
All
will take
clear,
it
all
3
clear.
wide.
Got one outside.
This track is
RC 33, just hit the top of the left. 25.246. Stay low.
Very bouncy track. They get loose. He's on the number 40 there. Pete Tardy's going to come
Still there.
No, he locks it down.
That was your box.
Great call. Pete locks it down, keeps it out of the field, keeps on rolling.
That's exactly what you want to see from these drivers. Get your car to a safe place.
Bottom wing sucks.
It might ruin your track position. We'll keep your car in safe conditions, and as well we'll see other drivers as we continue to race on. That exit turn 2 just going to get tougher as these green flag laps tick away. And these drivers were curious, how long of a green flag run could we have here this evening? As you're seeing a few drivers, it's going to be Cole Sacchetti in the 29. Storm Motorsports teaming ahead of them, going to be Chris Denson 17. Trying to pick and choose where do you want to go as these
Larry tell me to pull up in front of him.
Out of the top 20. Further along ahead, the battling for 3rd place. You've got the 75 of Gavin Rogers, Thomas Green, and Ken Campbell. Campbell with a great start for the 15. He's going to try to keep this track position here tonight.
Yeah, great run from Ken Campbell right now. Sitting there.
Yeah, it's super bumpy.
5th position, top 5 running for him right now.
I turned my force feedback down just because of how much it's hurting my arm, but I turned it back up just then because I can't feel what's happening.
In the 10th position, last car in the top 10. But these drivers,
I'm just gonna have to get over it and
their turn 2 exit is if they can
wear my arms out here.
They can drive a little bit straighter off and out of turn 2, which helps keep that car from breaking loose. With the difference in banking, going from the banking to the straightaway flat is such a huge change and it upsets that car. The straighter you drive off that turn, the safer that car is going to be.
I know for Cedric Hunter, this is going to be a fun race. Oh no, trouble behind! It's going to be Sacchetti as well as others. Oh, calamity! The field just piles in down into turn number 3, and another big one strikes here tonight.
Another big wreck strikes here on lap 11, and that is one, downside about this track is, it's fast.
For sure.
Also, so when things like this happens, it's harder to get these cars slowed down and slowed down faster, but a lot of cars just kind of drove into that wreck, it seemed, and just massive damage for a lot of cars.
The thing that we noticed on watching last week's race at Atlanta, when you get drivers sideways, the smoke plume, the new updates that iRacing's put in for the smoke, I mean, Richard, it is so much harder to see now when there's a lot of smoke on track. And I think for most of the field there, they were just banking and hoping the track was clear. But sadly, it wasn't. It was completely blocked by 2 drivers being sideways. As you see there, looseness with Sacchetti, tags GT Rossari, and then just madness with everyone piling in late.
It's going to be a long one tonight.
Madness indeed. 14 Rossari just getting involved there. Unfortunate for a lot of those drivers. Some major damage there for GT on the front. Hopefully he can get that fixed, but just the 29 to 14 coming together in the middle of the straightaway did not bode well for everybody.
Absolutely not. They'll first drivers to turn into that mixture as they were just trying to stay side by side racing as long as they could, but simple tag and go was what happened to the field. Both drivers will be entering pit road from 32nd position on back. All going to get repairs done as you've seen another different look of the carnage of drivers piling in. And looking at the field, still Shane Tarrant going to be staying up front. That was a curious thing when I was talking to drivers, was the thought of taking tires. When do you want to take them? When do you want to pit? Because fuel window that we were given was around 100 laps you can go on fuel, so you know you're going to have to pit at least one time tonight. But if the one time you pit is at the stage, then everyone kind of knows when you're going to come and take tires. If you get a lot of cautions, you can kind of stretch that fuel out. But Richard, if you're some of these drivers further on back, if we get a caution right before the stage, taking that gamble pitting early could really reward you with track position later on.
It definitely can.
Yeah,
I mean, getting your fuel early means you don't have to worry about a pit later, but I don't think that's the smart decision. I think what's going to be best for a lot of these guys is try to extend that long.
Then you're there.
You don't have to pit because the tires are going to be the big thing here at Rockingham.
Not quite.
The short tracks is how long can you make those tires last? If you can make the tires last a lot longer than others, then maybe pitting early is a better option for you. But the people that can pit as late as possible during the stage and not have to worry about pit after that, they're the ones that's going to benefit the most.
Let's see what the tire spin looks like now.
Of the ticker board, you can see that we're coming to the end of the stage here. We're almost halfway to it. Stage break is at the end of lap 45. Top 10 drivers are rewarded with stage bonus points. We'll see who can get top 10 before that stage is over. Pace cars off into the restart zone, and we're green once again. Tarian with a massive launch, and we're already seeing a little bit of hold on side. Kevin Rogers wasn't able to get through the gears as cleanly as he was hoping. As Ken Campbell doing a slight touch and a bump to help out that 75. But it's all Tarian side by side, further on back though.
Great side by side racing up here in front and throughout the field to see if they can keep it for longer than 10 laps. But they're able to get through one lap, no mishap on a restart here.
Oh shit, car's going straight.
Starting to take a little bit of movement up here in the front at the moment. There's a lot of side-by-side racing. Let them clear trying to figure out what line they want to take to try and make these moves. The outside line's definitely going to give you a lot more momentum, as we saw right there. Ollie Fonseca got quite a bit outside.
Here's where the true chaos is starting to mount up. Drivers that did not qualify well trying to march their way forward. There's the Green Machine of Ryan Kelly, also going to be the 51 of Vincent Sora. They started in last place because their laps got invalidated during qualifying as they're trying to march their way through this field. 2 drivers we expect to be inside the top 10. It's Kelly, very loose and wiggly up next to the corner, touches the outside wall for a quick moment. Well, the 00 does back off, but this field, they know they need to get moving forward. In the 51 and the 3, they're going forward together, just not in the traditional way of following one another. They're staying side by side and forcing it 3 wide. It seems like that seems to be their move to get forward as quickly as possible.
Still there?
It looks like they just took Cody Reed on the inside and the outside, forced him to the middle,
all clear.
and it kind of forced him to back off, being that middle driver, not where you want to be.
I think those guys running high are going to wear their tires out quick.
Kelly now, because he's taking the inside.
I practiced the low line, and my tires were a whole lot better than the top side.
You want to make the passes that move that Vincent Sora is giving us in class.
Yeah, it seems like listening to the drivers, they said the outside felt like it was the third place to have the most speed, but if everyone's running that same lane, there's going to be some big checkups. The drivers have to slow down earlier than they prefer to. That's what's enabling this 51 to take these big passes, go to the inside.
I'm a believer in that bottom line.
Sora now going to be attempting to get by the 4 of Colin Carroll, who gets into the outside wall.
Me and Ken Campbell, that car in front of me, we were practicing it. We were going pretty good.
Kind of quote-unquote advantage you can find of tapping the wall. It might look like it's hurting you, but actually can straighten you up for the exit of the corner.
definitely can't create love, keep the car stable again, but he's not doing it like we were talking about earlier. Not doing it really to intentionally gain an advantage. It's more just driving the car a little hard there and having to touch the wall. So now, yeah, he's going to stay off the wall this time. Definitely just an incidental move. Vincent Sora is going to be able to get around him, but the number 4 gets a little loose. But
we got to go to the lead. I know the 4 is out of control, but we got to go to the lead because it is getting chaotic with Seth Knoll going to be trying to make his way forward. He does make the pass for the lead. And for a quick second, they were 3 wide, having Knoll, Terry, and Rogers all trying to make the big moves. 88 on the inside group makes that pass work. Terry now trying to get the ramping off the exit corner pass, but Gavin Rogers better run for the 75. He'll go to the inside to get that 9 out of position. And Terrian, you would have preferred that lead, being up in the lead, having that clean.
After about 20, 30 laps, I was able to pass Larry running the bottom side.
Inside.
Be in that position, but the 88 of Seth Knoll doing a great job maintaining.
That's why I'm going to try it here early.
The only driver in our field that uses a controller instead of a wheel and pedal set.
Those guys up top behind me, they're moving.
You know, expensive sim rig. You don't need pedal or steering wheel. Grab a PlayStation or Xbox controller and you can race here in iRacing, and he's doing a fantastic job challenging these guys out here in the second.
They just get that massive run off. That's the difference.
I've talked to Shane, I've asked him, what controller are you using? Are you using the expensive brands that have the special pedals and all the gizmos that you can ask for? And he said, no, I'm using one of the cheaper options.
It stays green.
So you really don't even need an expensive controller either to be racing.
I got hope.
Machine trying to hold for second position. And I'm still poking the nose to the inside. And that battle for the lead kind of fading away as this battle for second is holding back any speed. Rogers or Thomas Green might be feeling like they've got underneath their engines. They're just going to.
So the thing is, if the rear tires start going out,
at this moment,
I'll be forced to move up.
This is incredible to see. We've been green way longer than I was expecting us to be.
The draft might change that dynamic a little bit.
Control out of the exit turn 2 have done a fantastic job.
Every time that car gets
down their vehicle,
close behind me, I get real loose.
Misfortunes.
Yeah, the driver's doing a great job of keeping their cars straight and clean and out of trouble when they're getting loose out of 2. Really,
yeah, lap 45.
Mainly 2. That is the problem.
Got one outside.
These drivers are doing a great job keeping the racing going, keeping this race under the green flag. And we have just gone over.
I might be losing too many positions here doing this.
Over 10 laps completed, so these guys are doing a really good job.
Clear high. Outside.
Is still trying to get around Shane Terry and keeps looking low, but he keeps getting a little loose and not
clear high.
But we're still back here right along with Zachary Hall. Looks like number 40 getting loose again.
This might work on like a 90 lap run or something.
But just a Hornets.
Oh my goodness.
Stay low. There's a car on the high side. All clear.
A lot of these drivers that are maybe 20th off back.
I'm going to have to do something to keep getting past.
First caution, we got turn 1, and then the second caution of seeing the backstretch kind of turn into a parking lot with drivers right into one another.
You're clear high.
Damage recruited throughout the field as we're seeing John Forbes, Cody Reed going.
Turn 1 and 2 at Pa might be faster, but 3 and 4 might be faster lower.
And John Forbes was involved with some of those incidences early on, and that first caution.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Derek.
Going to pit road, got a little bit of damage repair. It's hurt him on track position as he's trying to gain some of those spots back. For the drivers, though, that's trying to make his charge forward. 24 machine of Ollie Fonseca. I know we were just looking on it, but Ollie coming off of a one-race suspension and 2
It's right there. You're able to get on the throttle a whole lot more.
Last season, put him in a tough spot in season 11. He had a missed last week's race.
3-4 feels better on the bottom.
24 and currently 15. Not a bad place to be if you're starting your restart of the season a race late.
Yeah, it's never fun missing out on the first race of the season. I got a feel for Ollie there missing out on a very good chance to get some really good points. But he's here. He's at Rockingham. Ready to, make up the loss.
All clear. Got one outside.
But maybe that might change the way he races a little bit. Maybe
all clear.
Situations that he put himself in last season.
The lead did a 25.349 inside.
Season 1 champ of WSSR and also winner of Rockingham. Season 3, Robbie Johnson, driver who dominated that race back in season 3, led 135 to 167 laps that day. Here tonight, runs 10th. Love to see the speed from the rookie returning. The driver that always seems to be at the top end of speed. Hasn't found the luck to win championships.
Blue car's making it work.
It has been a lot of fun to see Ryan when he is showing up full-time, part-time, on how much speed he truly will have as he's following one of his longtime rivals of Larry Yingling in front of him. That's 67. Also, been looking pretty quick. Both of them just staying in line. This is 9th and 10th currently on the track, trying to find their way forward.
Yeah, these two are
They had
all clear. Get that one extra point when we get closer to
about right
stage here. This is one defense, and Brian P. Johnson's going to look low on Larry Yingling here. Going to challenge for that ninth position.
All clear.
Inside. They're going to be side by side as they come out to it.
You're good. That red car was wrecking.
Clear low.
Defend if that's faster momentum up the exit corner. Helps to defend for that spot. It's now going to be seeing that 3 and 51. They continue their charge forward. Now, Ali Fonseca is going to be the next driver on their sights. Up to 12th place now is this battle.
I must not know what I'm doing. Maybe that's just it.
The 51 machine, as Ollie's trying to defend on the outside groove and trying every way to.
It's always that possibility.
Slow him down off the exit while keeping your own momentum, and it's working for now for Ollie. How long will Vincent Zora just stay in this position? It's just one of those spots where you have to stay patient as long as you can.
Yeah, patience is definitely key when making these passes. You're trying to keep that car safe. You're not trying to get yourself involved in any kind of situation that's going to ruin the rest of your race. And that's exactly what Vincent Soar is doing. He's taking his time, waiting for the right moment to get around, but he is up 29 positions from where he started. Him and Ryan Kelly both up 29 positions. These guys are making their charge through the field. They want those stage points. As we go, it looks like the 78 is spinning on the first stretch.
Tanner's trying to lock it down, and he's going to have the nose right on the racing surface, but drops it back to the apron. It's going to be a tough spot. He's got to get rolling. Once he gets on that racing surface, most likely a yellow flag will be thrown with oncoming traffic. He finally starts moving as more drivers pass on by, and there's that caution we were waiting for. As it's 10 laps, we're about 10 laps away from the stage ending, and a quick yellow. And this was that zone I was talking about, Richard, of you can pit now. It can help you for track position later on, but it can give you away any stage points maybe you're going after.
I'm up on the outside, guys.
Yeah, this is where the big pick. It's only going to be a good 5 to 10 lap difference near the end of the race. So you can sacrifice your position now. You might not get your stage points, but it might put you in a better race position for the start of the last bit of this race. And then you don't have to pit. So, but we got the 78 here. Gets up into Larry Yingling in turn 3, and then he's just trying to chase the car.
My teammates are going in. I'll do what they're doing.
Ollie Fonseca through the middle, and he just loses it on himself, trying to give Ollie some room. So, opening race, he spins out of 4, but great work keeping it out of traffic and out of the other cars, and just a self-spin on himself.
And this, the building's going to take it away, but then season opening tries to take off, and Ben Keeney with the biggest scare, which makes that even more awkward, is those are Alliance drivers as well. Ben Keeney, one of the newest members to join this season with Lucky Ducks, trying to go underneath their umbrella, and luckily neither driver making contact.
I agree, Derek.
Scary woeing spot to have for yourself as drivers attempting to go into pit road, and it's going to be our leader at the time of caution. It's going to be Senthil taking that advantage of pitting. Doesn't go for the stage bonus points. He's thinking long-term in this race, and he'll go into pit road to get service done.
94-91, and it's already uncontrollable.
Position for the 88 machine up front with a lot of those passes that were going on late when that caution flag came out. Ross Tatum was able to blitz his way by.
So they're calling out their tire wear, and their right front is 90. Mine's 94, so I'm not using enough.
Yeah, these
right
guys
front.
are definitely making a charge. Try to get back up front. Now they're in prime position to potentially take the win in this stage and get them some very valuable stage points. Same for Gavin Rogers. It does look like his tires have fallen off quite a bit. He's lost a few positions there, but he elects to stay out as well. He's going to try to get those stage points, but these drivers still got a few laps, about 5 to 6 laps to go until that stage caution wave, so still have a great chance to get some good points, even for those guys that pitted in.
Yeah, this next restart is going to be your last restart of the stage.
Right
caution before the end of lap 45, that will count as the stage ending. And if we get to the end of lap 45, still green, a caution will be thrown in.
Well, I told you guys to watch the wheel spin the first time, and you wrecked.
If you finish first, you get 10 bonus points. And then time for stage ending, 9 points to second, 8 to third.
That was my fault.
Dwindle down. until you get to 10th place, where you only get one measly bonus point, but that 1 point could be the reason of you being into the playoffs or missing out. Every point is so crucial to go after. As Ross Tatum sneakily was making his way forward. He started 13th, up 12 spots. It's 21. He found late speed. The long run might be where Ross Tatum feels the strongest as he takes off immediately. Green flag is back into the air here tonight for the Rock Race 2. Top 2 going to be in line for now as tearing in the 9. He looks to be a little bit in trouble. He's floundering with those older tires. But up front, Thomas Green almost to the quarter panel for that lead position.
Clear low. Lead position, but Ross Tatum still able to maintain it, but he's going to look low again as they go into 3. Side by side as they come out of 4. Who's going to have this lap? It will be Ross Tatum leading this lap and still maintaining the lead, but I'm sure Thomas Green will not give up that easy. He's going to try to get a run and make another move as we got Captain Rocket sitting in 3rd with 2 right behind him, trying to chase him down as well.
It only takes one bobble from anybody here in front of me.
Starting to see emergences from 2 of their
We're kind of staying out of it.
As the one machine of John Forbes of 51 of Vincent Sora are trying their ways to move up.
Everybody else is behind me.
As they can, but it's the newcomers to Nightmare Fuel of Talmadge and Green.
I ain't really gaining anything by passing anybody here.
Tonight, but that inside looking tough as Tyrion throws that 9 machine to the outside wall. Didn't want to overcorrect to the inside, taking out Talmadge. And they will stay pointed forward for now as everyone single files out on the top 7. It's hope that you find the good speed as the 25 trying his best. It's Cody Reed to hold back Nico Garcia, the 71. Oh no, trouble! Oh, Douglas, watch out! That 7 machine trying his best not to just throw away those positions.
Yeah, Douglas Newbigging, number 7 there in the blue Tiltified car for Lucky Doug. Very fast driver, but he always seems to find himself in kind of self-sabotaging situations there. Looks like he got into the quarter panel a little bit of the car in front of him.
All right, I scared you there.
Spun out and down the front stretch, but able to keep it straight. Didn't lose a ton of positions, and he's going to make his surge back and try to get those spots back.
Glad I didn't back into the corner.
Prior off next to turn 2, Shane Terry takes slide. He falls down at 8th
Yeah, that would have
place.
been good.
This is now giving
Not trying that again. That was
fresh
horrible.
air for those that are battling for 10th place.
I don't
The race
blame you.
drivers trying their best to be inside the top 10 when this stage is over. Coming across the line, the start of the final lap of the stage. Ross Tatum, what a charge for this 21 machine. You can see the front end slightly dented in after that first lap caution, but it doesn't throw away his run. It's Thomas Green. Big slide off the exit of turn 2. Potato in that Coca-Cola 21 machine, exit of turn number 4. Stage winner. This is a great showing by the 21 team. As exit out of turn number 4 for 10th place, Shane Terrian will take that final spot.
Great job by Ross Tatum. We were talking about earlier.
As that yellow flag came out, Cedric Hunter got spun around into turn number 1.
Man, Rex after the caution, but I was just saying about Ross Tatum, it just goes to show
Say Rex
that
under
damage
caution
isn't that
till
big
I
a
get
deal
the
as he
stage
takes
point.
the stage win, benefiting from the leaders pitting.
Or
But let's see
simulate
what
life.
happened here after the yellow was thrown as Cedric Hunter is spun around sideways on that outside wall.
You came across the line.
Not as many cautions as I thought. They're all doing a pretty good job.
Down
Pit road
into
is
the
now open.
corner and just went straight up into
Tell
Campbell.
me to
It
let him
just
by
looked
when I
like he
really
lost
need to.
any type of grip in those tires and just shipped his way
Pit
into
road open up. You guys
15.
faster?
Yeah, it looks like he did just
Can we get those
hold
at the
tight
front?
there and drifted up. I don't know what exactly was going on with the car, especially with the
I'm
caution
sorry there,
flag
Ken.
out.
No, like I said, I
It's
locked
definitely a
up and I
very
was even
strange
trying to down
situation.
try to slow the car down more.
Side
They
by
wouldn't
side, he
fucking
does
turn
come
or
across
slow
the
down
line in
there.
front of Ken Campbell. So he'll have the position there, and it just the car.
Yeah.
He looks like he locks his tire up, but the car just shoots out to the outside.
And these guys are still racing hard. Main reason why is they're trying to
Pit road
keep
is
track
closed.
position. Now, the bonus points that are given is when they cross the line, what positions they're in. The yellow flag will not be thrown until 10th place crosses the line. And for Cedric Hunter, yellow flag is thrown, and that is a
72.
dismal
Lucky
way
dog,
to
let it
finish
by on the
out the
outside.
stage, even with that great track position. I don't know
I guess I'll just run whatever line these guys in front of me run.
Extra damage.
Try not
that
to
wasn't
do my own
necessary.
thing.
That is a tough spot
up
as drivers going to get
72.
service done in pit road to get
When the yellow
their
flag
pit
came out.
stops finished up. And with all the passes that were
Yeah, I
going
think it
on,
opened
those
early
that
for me,
pitted
'cause I was back
10
in like
laps
30th
ago
pitted, and then the
under our
leaders came
second to
down.
last caution
Now,
before the stage
halfway
ended.
through the middle of the
Vincent
field.
Sora going to be in that control spot
Yeah,
for
it's gonna put
himself.
the ball
Now we're
left
waiting for
down,
drivers to
even though
leave their positions
that's
of
almost
pit
over.
road to see if we can maybe talk to our stage winner. But I'm looking at
Yeah, it
Discord. Looks
opened
like
right
he
as
is
the
not
last
any
few
of the
cars were going
channels.
by.
All right, thank you, Derek.
Able to
Opening.
talk
I don't know what that
to
was
our
about.
stage winner. As the pace car
See you later.
still on. We're gonna have a quick turnaround for ourselves here as Vincent Sora is looking good, but Richard, this is one of those
All right,
times
man,
I think
we're
we'll wait
going
for our
green
next
next
caution,
time by.
pull in a
Yeah, I
driver.
got a pat
Line
in
up
the
on the
yellow,
outside road
close
now.
pit, the whole.
So we're gonna be in
line.
that control spot. 10-lap difference on
Yeah,
tires.
what happened is that
Ross
nobody
Tatum and the rest of the field are
went
gonna
and
be
really
12
caught the pace
on
car
back
leaving the
on
back
this
half of
next
the field,
restart.
and so the pace car was right behind us.
Yeah, those guys who took
And when it opened,
tires on that first
they
caution,
rode,
that
and then like
second
pretty much
caution,
everybody
10 laps
pitted, and then ended up
stage,
going
they're
all
up
down or
front
whatever.
now.
That
They're
was just
playing the
my like
early
weighted
pit strategy to give
yeah, I think he
themselves
was
track
up too early.
position, but that's the downside about trying to get a driver for interview on a track like this. It's so
We get
short,
the
the
lead
caution
round,
laps
just go to
do
the back
not
and then
tick by very
should be on the
slow.
lead lap technically,
So
I
we don't
guess.
have a
I
lot
don't
of time
know.
to pull someone and find someone and talk to them. But hopefully next caution, if we have one, we'll talk to someone new or someone within the field. But looks like Vincent Sora will be leading this field to the green flag to start the final stage of this race.
We get ourselves
Get
rolling
ready.
here. Stage is over. It's now time to race it to the end. We got 131 laps to go here tonight at Rockingham. The first
All right, man.
45 laps
Race cars
showed
in.
some big wrecks, but we also saw some green flag racing.
Green.
That's
Good
a
job,
good
man.
sign
You're in
for
the
the
top
field
10.
knowing, hey, we can
I'm
race
terrible.
this
I'm so
thing
sorry.
out. It
I'll
could
log
be
off.
based
I'm
off if you
terrible.
want some
Free
good
wide,
track
you're in
position
the
from the
middle.
start. You can rip your way through this
Hold your
field
line.
if you
Free
keep
wide.
yourself clean. And
Clear
oh
high,
no!
clear high.
Not
Clear
clean
wide
was
there.
that start as Vincent
Still there.
Sora in the
Hold
set
your line.
pole. Oh, the front row.
I'm sorry,
Throw it all the way.
Stay
And
high.
now it's
There's
John
no problem.
Forbes pulling away from the rest of the field with Ryan Kelly
I've
in
been
second.
restarting in the back all
Stay
night.
high.
That's the first time I've actually restarted with speed.
Unfortunate start to
I don't wanna do that
another
again.
restart, but we not under caution this time. They all
All
kept
clear,
it
all
straight.
clear.
But a lot of drivers are
The lead is
losing
at
momentum in spots. If they would have been
25.712. You got one inside.
For hoping for all the advantage held out for themselves with Ross Tatum now going to be slotted up in 9th place. Some easy positions of trouble further on back as drivers are looking really slow. That's going to be Pete Tart in the boarding machine. Big real issue for himself as drivers continue to race
Yeah,
on
one
up
inside.
front. Now Nick Crawford, who's had one of the faster
Stay
laps
high.
put down here tonight. 74.
Clear low,
Taking
clear
that
low.
advantage of Pit stops, trying to charge up front as now
Inside.
we're going to be 3 wide. Set goal as we'll see
Stay
Thomas
high.
Green
Cross
cover
the
winner
low
from
side.
last week. Canada trying to
Stay
find
high.
their way to
Cross
sneak
the low
forward, but
side.
Canada stays stuck in the middle as they exit turn number 2.
Stay high.
Not doing a great job sticking the car in the middle lane and still able to clear it out. But they're all going to follow and see what
Stay high.
behind them. They might try to run that outside and get that momentum. Fighting to try to get up here in the top 10. As I said, he's trying
All
also
clear, all
try
clear.
to keep this car clean, try to have a clean race for himself.
Inside.
Points.
Clear low,
It
clear
will
low.
come if you keep that car
Inside.
clean on track, and that's exactly what he's trying to do right now. Shane
Stay
Terry
high.
to start
There's
off
the car on the low side.
Terry
All
we
clear,
saw
all
he looks
clear.
good when he's in clean air in those first couple of laps. He's going to try and take advantage
Yeah,
of
one
the
inside.
fresher tires
All
that he's
clear, all
grabbed
clear.
with the most recent pit stop down the inside on the 16. They'll stay side by side. From the middle of the field. This is that danger point
Outside.
where everyone's so clogged up on top
Stay
of one
low.
another. There's not a lot of safe places to go. There's Nazi Major
Stay low.
and the
There's
82
a car on the high
trying to
side.
get that danger setup machine
All
working
clear,
on the
all
top.
clear.
As well as Douglas Newbegin, we saw had a big slide
go,
on
man.
their
Keep
lane
it.
at the end of the stage. The 7 trying to get redemption to get back inside of the top 10 as quickly as possible.
Yeah, he's definitely working his way up through the field. It'd be nice to see him get a lot of really good finishes this season as well. Maybe have another chance at a championship run for him. He's one of our faster cars also. It's just he always seems to get involved
All
in
clear,
either
all clear.
an accident or something he causes on himself. But he's definitely a really fast driver. And it's great to see him up here trying to
Inside.
challenge for the top 10 as we're riding back now with
Stay high.
Fonseca with the 21 of Ross Tatum, our state winner,
Clear
right
low,
behind
clear
him.
low.
And Ryan can't follow him.
Yeah, one
Eight
inside.
machine after getting passed by Ross figured out, you know what,
Stay
moving to the
high.
top might be the better
Clear
place
low,
to be
clear
with my
low.
older tires as Thomas going to be Talmadge.
Those new tires?
For himself. Also going to be seen.
Yeah, those are new tires.
Noah
Delete
going
it.
to be
Did a
seen
20.
Okay, so that explains that.
level 0
5,
further
4.
on back. Drivers who got fresh rubber, they are making some quick work, moving forward as Ross.
I was wondering why they were so much faster. It didn't make sense.
Thomas Green following him as well, up to 7.
Hey, Ross just straight past me on the outside like it was nothing. The
Got
guy
one outside.
behind me is going 2-2.
Than to deal with.
Still there.
But they're right now, they're kind of run this time really
Still
Ten
there.
lap
Hold the
difference.
line.
naturally faster than the guys that they're passing, or if they're
Clear
just
high, clear high.
run their tires as hard as they can. So it'll be exciting to see if nobody pits again the rest of this race, whose tires are going to last the longest. Because the looser your car is, it's going to be harder to control that car, especially out of turn 2, like we talked about. The trouble spot on this track, that car is going to want to snap loose and spin. And
stay high. There's a car below that.
Hard to say when that happens.
Andrew Medlin, who had a very good run last week at Atlanta,
clear
trying
low,
to stay
clear
on the
low.
outside
Yeah, one
and
inside.
get by Zach Hall. Not able to do
Stay
so,
high.
lose a position. There's a 78
All clear, all
Shane Tanner,
clear.
who's also moved up to 22nd spot after his slide that brought out a caution. He's now in a great position to move
All
into
clear, all
22nd
clear.
place. About to be
Inside.
attacking for 21st as Medlin goes into the
Still
outside
there.
wall, trying to stay high.
All
More
clear,
contact
all
with Nico
clear.
Garcia getting to 12,
Inside.
and that is some major troubles and almost down to his teammate
high.
was
There's a
Medlin,
car below
and I
that.
think he's got something
All
broke
clear,
on
all
the 12.
clear.
Something on the wheel isn't right because he is struggling. Look like he was trying to get down to pit
Sorry,
road.
Van.
Trying to stay low, get out of the way of the rest of the field.
All right,
But
man, caution
Medlin,
is out.
we're
Caution is
assessing
out.
how
Line up,
bad the
single
damage
file.
is with
Pit road,
multiple
clear.
contacts to the outside wall. That is not what you want to do with these next-gen vehicles.
How do you wreck
No,
from
and especially, we
43rd
got to spin
position?
Cody Reed spin on the backstretch.
I don't know what I did.
Cody
but
Reed, Chris Pitts, both having trouble going slow
I
up
had-
into the corner.
I had
Looks
no
like more
clue they
drivers
were in
might
the
have been
car
earlier
earlier. Now
in their
we'll-
lane.
to like thaw him
And trouble
and
just
caution.
strikes out the exit of turn number 2.
Oh yeah, no, I did a hard left there
We're
just
talking about there for the number 12, Andrew Medlin, though. You know, we were talking about the multiple taps to the outside wall that he had. It is a buildup of damage.
Yeah, new tires are fast there.
The more times you hit that wall, you're eventually going to break something. But now we're going to ride around and see what happens with Cody Reed as he's riding around the 82 of
That I would once
Nazi
again like to
Major there.
apologize and thank you
He's
for
gonna-
saving
Larry
me there.
pitted, but Ryan did not.
That's
He's
terrible.
going to try to take it 3 wide, and he will be in the middle lane still. They were 3 wide through 1 and 2. They just kind of close in, gets a little close to the 17. 17 comes up and gets into his left rear quarter panel and nose first into that inside wall.
There's another
Pass up,
contact
9,
here, and
pass
that's the 91 of Mark Morales and Ken Campbell.
Car
Campbell
73.
just blasting the
Best of luck,
91's
y'all.
rear
What
end.
about
He was
that?
not expecting Morales to just jab on the brakes. But taking another look
Got 3
at it.
sets over the wall,
Lucky
but
dog, huh?
Just trying to run down
I'm
low
in
as
ninth,
it's
and
another 3 wide. It just naturally wants to pull you up though off the exit
Larry
of the
came out of the
corner,
pits in 27th,
and with
so
caution coming out as drivers
9th is a little bit better than
going 3 wide. It's
27th
not
right
the
now.
safest place to be when you're in attack mode, and just simply
I might get
great
past some more,
touch
but
and,
I don't know about this one,
multiple
Larry.
different moments there for drivers.
we ain't even to the halfway point yet, so
And again, another incident happening behind them. That was the
I'll take what I
91
got.
of Mark Morales with also the 15 of Ken Campbell.
Don't worry. I'm
They were
hitting, so
trying
you
to
have
get
at least one
through
less
that
car in the
wreck.
track, buddy.
As Morales currently is 36th position for himself and was trying his best to get through the wreck, but then just absolutely
All right, man, we're
ran
going green
over.
next time
As
by.
here's another
All right,
look
man,
of
line up
what
on the
happened to the
inside row.
91 machine as he came up to the incident off that exit of turn 2.
Yeah, Mark Morales just trying to do the right thing, just slowed down as there's a wreck in front of him, and he just gets ARCA braked almost is what it looked like. Ken Campbell just didn't slow down like Martin was, and just right into the rear end of the 91 machine. Heavy damage to both of their cars as well.
I'm curious if maybe you're going to see in the mirror if Justin Malarkey maybe was on his rear bumper and he couldn't back off, and we'll see what it looks like off the exit of the corner. Maybe there was a separate factor that happened. Maybe he was looking at a different thing. There's no one behind him, and he just drives right into him. And that's a tough spot for Ken Campbell
Get ready.
and others. As we find ourselves with another caution being thrown, drivers are stacking up, and I'm curious, we haven't done this in a while. I'm throwing Robert right under the bus. I'm curious
All right, man.
if we can
Save
maybe do
cars
a
in.
crank it up. I know the driver's going to take off here, but we'll
Green
see
flag, green
once we
flag.
go
Dig it,
green
man, you're in top
if
10.
we can
Delete
get a crank it up for
10,
these drivers
5, 2,
into the next
9.
lap,
Got one
if
outside.
possible. As we've got
All
John Force,
clear, all
Ryan
clear.
Kelly going to be the drivers getting us to the green. I'll wait until you give me the cue as John Force, Ryan Kelly shift it down into turn number 1, exit into turn
Outside.
number 2, crank it up. Let's
Stay
see
low.
how loud these drivers can be here at the
Still there. Stay low. There's a car on the high side. Still there. Hold your line.
it's gonna be loose right here.
Stay low.
Yep.
There's a car on the high side. All clear. All clear. Still there. Hold your line.
I think I'm gonna just have to go to the high side and run it.
Stay low. There's a car on the high side.
If you start off on the bottom, you might be able to wear your tires in right to do it, but see those guys, they still got grip down there.
I did not know we were 3, my bad.
Sorry, I tried calling it out. I think it's inside. All clear, all clear. Inside. Still there. Stay high. Still there. Stay high. Stay high. There's the car on the low side. The leader just did a 24.664. Clear low, clear low.
Where was that going?
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that little bit of a cranker up that we got to show of the run with the WSSR VRS Cup Series. After this restart, it's right.
That Ryan is killing it up front. He's in the lead with old tires.
John Forbes trying to find a way to get by the 3 machine. Was for a quick moment, but falls back in line as you see last week's winner, Joshua.
He's killing it.
Under fire for himself as he's running currently at 17.
Taking off and leaving them too.
Larry Yingling, Nazi Major, and Cedric Hunter all trying to pounce to get by this 16 machine as well as they can. I want to say thank to all those that are joining with us here tonight. I also want to say thank you to all the sponsors. That's VRS, Virtual Racing School, GTR Simulators, Trophy Smack, Sim Precision Prints, and Whiplash Sim Cams for being major sponsors for the WSSR and for us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're closing in ever so closer to the halfway zone. We're still in the first half of tonight's race, but you're seeing drivers wiggling up into the corner. It's been out of control everywhere. And Richard, I mean, it has been top-secret.
Larry's done caught up to him. Man, tires are worth a lot.
But man, how have you felt like this race has been going so far?
Those tires are nice, Larry.
This race is going a lot better than I honestly expected. It started off kind of with expectation. I wasn't expecting a wreck as they crossed the start line, but 10 laps was about a good run. I've seen a lot worse, but these guys have really taken this track and have been dominating, and they've been doing a great job keeping these cars straight and under control. And that just goes to show you the skill level of this field. But we're going to talk about the number 3 machine of Ryan Kelly. Started the very last place of the field, is leading this race at Rockingham.
Took advantage of having the position on pit stops. The 3 machine deciding to pit with 10 laps to go at the end of the stage. So with the timing of the stage coming out, was able to stay out, jump some of those positions. The only trouble is you have the track position now for the 3 machine. An incredible story of how well he's punching forward. But I'm curious.
Larry knows this track a lot better. I mean, Ryan knows this track a lot better than I do.
Green, the potential of green.
He is taking off and leaving them too.
Shout out also to the 3 machine for being Whiplash Simcam's biggest mover of the race in the first half of tonight's running. Like Richard said, he started in the last 43rd position, but he is now up 42 spots. Congratulations.
Leaving them too.
The 3 machine. You're seeing a little bit of smoke as drivers further on back have been having some slides here or there. We continue to stay green.
I'm gonna have to get his autograph after this race.
That middle of the field from 10 to about 25th position. They just can't get off one another. It's just small little pockets here and there. And Richard, it's everyone trying to clock for every
Trying to see what line he's running.
Trying to recognize.
He's running that bottom in 3 and 4.
Extremely loose.
Can't quite tell in 1 and 2 yet.
That car starts to break loose, get a little bit out of control. They're doing a good job spotting it of their other competitors and backing off of them. But also,
Oh yeah, he's running that low line. That's what I was thinking. So I'm gonna have to switch to that up on my next set of tires.
Everybody under green flag racing, and you know it's going to be interesting to see who can save their tires the longest. Because I feel that's what's going to be the name of the game tonight, especially since nobody has to pit the rest of this race for fuel. It is a tire game. You're not going to want to waste your time getting pits, getting those fresh tires. I gotta save these tires. I gotta make them last till the end of this race if I want a chance to get up there and challenge the win.
Seeing some new faces making some big moves there for Mountains on the 26. William Edwards now up to 11th position. Also seeing rookie this season, Nico Garcia teaming up with Shane Terrian and seeing groups of drivers trying to find their own new allies. As we've seen, Nico have some great performances on Monday nights in the ISRC Truck Series. They're over here on Rockingham broadcasting, and it would have been fun to watch having to
Also on entry.
The majority of those drivers racing in both leagues. We've seen the fun growth. As some drivers, we see them growing in one series, and it translates over to another. Nico, we've been learning a lot. He's a rookie in both series, and it's been a joy to see.
There we go. Now we're getting tires. So is everybody else.
And now trying to
that kind of sucks.
here in the cup car.
But Larry only made it up to 14th. So
it's our winner from last week, Joshua Kanata and Cody Reed, slow on the backstretch.
Fortunate for them is Cody Reed.
Ryan, you're making us look bad.
Kanata, who's just trying to stay
Nick, bring me down with you. Why don't you?
Lucky you're up there taking away with old tires.
No, I followed Larry.
He just wants to be able to be in that top 20 of points so he can make the playoffs. So unfortunate to see him get into a wreck here and brought out the caution.
It's impressive.
Yeah, not the most favorable position to have drivers get into one another.
Car.
Having the drivers racing with one another. Joshua Kanata, Cody Reed.
Are you running low in 1 and 2?
Racing their teammates with one another on Monday nights, and here tonight, allies, friends, getting into one another off the exit of turn 2. You're going to see Kanata, he kind of goes with that dirty move to the inside. Wasn't clear. Cody Reed with a bigger launch, and I don't think either driver expected.
Everybody's probably pitting here.
That same real estate.
So I got screwed not taking.
And there's just a
Larry's staying out.
Racing incident of two drivers just clashing into one another.
Yeah, I think Kanata was just trying to get that straighter launch off the turn to keep that car a little more stable, and just wasn't expecting Cody Reed to be that close to him. They got into each other, but Cody Reed was trying his best to keep Kanata straight, doing a really good job, but unable to actually keep him straight enough to keep the green flag out. But that's great work by the teammates. You accidentally spin each other out, and you try to straighten each other out to keep you going, and just unable to keep it going straight.
Or not, as pit road quite busy after this caution. Majority of the field coming into pit road get service done for themselves. 3 drivers stay out. That's Larry Engling, Ollie Fonseca, and Chris Stitz that pitted 21 laps ago. They will stay out. Rest of the field, it stops recalling their names as Ryan Kelly, Ross Tatum. They will challenge off the exit of the corner off of pit road, and it's the 3 that will win that race off. So Ryan Kelly will start 4th, Ross Tatum 5th, and I have found Ross Tatum in the Discord channel, so we're going to see if we can talk to our 5th place driver, as Ross Tatum was our stage winner at the time, and get a sense of how he's feeling on this next restart. Ross, it's Sam and Richard up in the booth. You got us?
All right, man. Line up on the outside.
Well, you were our stage winner. We were looking for you on Discord. We kind of lost your name out there, but congratulations on winning this stage. We're coming up to the halfway of tonight's race. How's the car feeling? We see a little bit of nose damage, but how are you also feeling about tonight's race?
Was there even a lucky dog there?
The car feels good. I wasn't going to pit unless I knew my car was really affected by the damage. So far, it hasn't. Hell must have froze over for me to win a stage in this league. So looking forward to the rest of the race. Hopefully, I can just get a good finish tonight.
Yeah, great job on the stage win there, and even with that nose damage. But you gonna try and top it off with top 5, or even try and go and challenge those guys for the win tonight?
I just need a good points tonight, honestly. So top 5 would be great. I would be ecstatic for that.
Well, Ross, we'll send you back, and good luck for the rest of this race.
Ready?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's the 21 Coca-Cola machine of Ross Tatum. Again, these interviews are just going to be so quick. It just in a blink of an eye. We're already about to go green with Larry Engling, Ollie Fonseca, Ryan Kelly, old tires. Going to be starting up front. Ryan Kelly on the outside row. going to be the driver with fresh rubber. And for Ryan Kelly, he loves to see his teammate on the outside. Watch out for a little bit of teamwork and team effort as Kelly's going to get the good launch. He'll follow Yingling, but will Yingling get out of the way, or will they continue to fight and claw? Yingling stays high as Kelly goes low. There's that teamwork already being shown here on that restart.
All clear. You got one inside.
Shoot straight to the lead, back up front.
Clear low.
Kelly in the number 3 machine, and Larry Yingling's going to sit there and try and play defense for him, let him gain a little bit of a lead.
All right, man, caution is out. Caution is out. Line up.
Gonna get into Douglas Newbiggie, and they slide in the grass. We stay green.
Is that Ron?
Douglas moves up on the track. There's the caution.
No, Ron Kelly's in the lead.
Drivers try to scatter their way around, and Thomas Green, also going to be Newbiggie. They were trying their best to stay off one another, but 3 wide doesn't last for very long.
I just went out already on the restart, man.
Again for Douglas Newbiggie, just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I don't keep tabs.
Gets into Thomas Green there, and they both spin through the infield. Sad to see for both those guys.
Really count,
Thomas Green having a fantastic race, and Douglas just trying to get through the field back up front again. But you're going into 3 here. Let's see what happens.
Does the race start when they throw the green flag, or when you pass the start finish for the first
up
time?
right in front of them is what it looks like.
Look it out,
And then the 7 might have just gotten to the back of the 31.
There's Thomas. He breaks loose, and then they're stacked 4 wide. There's the tap, and away they go. Luckily, looking at the 7, he does graze back up on the track with oncoming traffic, and that's what brings out
2 tires with about halfway here.
The big thing you take kudos for is no one else in excessive damage with those 2
I didn't get any damage. Hopefully you didn't get any either.
On the outside. Pit road is closed.
Just kept it sideways, locked it down, and brought the caution out. Was able to get back, or the car got back up on the racing surface. And that's the downside about cautions here in iRacing, is if it's not on the racing surface, the out is pretty much slim to nil. So these guys spinning off through the infield won't bring a caution until they're getting out on the racing surface. And just the nose of moving, got up on the surface, brought the caution out, and driver again got to restack and re-rack as we get ready for another restart.
And luckily, again, like we've been kind of harping on all night, yes, there's a lot of contact that's happening between drivers, but they're at so slow speeds. They're not at any really big contacts that are hurting the vehicles. The thing that's hurting them the most is losing the track position, because just making 1 pass takes a couple laps to make. Here's your race report so far. We've had 7 cautions to this point. We've ran over 18 laps with caution laps being put down, 7 lead changes, and we've ran a very nice 69 laps of green flag racing. Richard, I mean, looking at this field so far, 7 cautions. The most we've ever had here at Rockingham in the past was last time we ran here in season 7. They had 10 cautions. The only difference, they were in 150 laps that day, running 180, so that's more laps they have to worry about, and more you have to just hold your breath and hope that you survive with. But with these low contact hits, we've only lost 2 drivers so far here this evening. We lost Ryan.
So most people have 2 sets like me, I believe.
Garcia back around lap 30 when he had internet issues that took him out of this race. But besides that, I mean, it's shocking the fact that we still have 41 drivers out on track.
Hey.
Yeah, not even just
so
that.
As slow as I am on track, I might just need to save a set, hoping for a late caution.
Ask me again in about 30 seconds.
I'm not going to be able to go forward.
Of course, we have on the lead lap still here.
I don't know this track good enough to be able to do
stay on
that.
the lead lap, try to get that damage repair as quickly as you can, and for these drivers, how fast these restarts are about to go back to green flag racing. It's Ryan Kelly, the lead driver on this go, with his teammate Larry Yingling on the outside, and they're going to have John Forbes, Noah Seth Noel, as well as Ross Tatum, Ollie Fonseca. Green flag is back out in the air. Old-timers are starting to fade. There we go, already big dashing move to the outside is Seth Noel, who's trying to get the big run off the exit of the corner. Watch out for the back stretch as that 88's trying to run down the green.
Running down off the restart here, and he's got right up to him, about a 2-car length difference between him, and he's going to get a great run through the middle of the turn.
Got one outside.
Right up next to him with the run from the outside.
3 wide.
Kelly's going to be able to pull away from him a little bit. gets a huge gap between them. But Brad Noel is so
Brad King
is still not giving up. He is trying to make that inside line work as they're stacking up
49.
Stacking further behind, and oh no, there's the trouble. It's going to be Tanner in the 78. Spun around in front of the field on the back stretch. Yellow flag is out.
I did hit him. That sucks. I think he was out of control anyway.
The 78 that was sliding
I mean, already
inside.
past the point of no return.
Two of Joshua Corner was trying his best to get around, and he does get around. Luckily, no one else added to that incident.
He had a weird wiggle like halfway down.
Just 2-3 wide. These stack ups up into the corner.
I wasn't looking at him at first. I was looking at the 3 wide on the up against the wall.
For so long, and it ultimately went around at the end.
Yeah, it doesn't think got a little bit of.
And then I saw smoke off his car.
Trying to dodge him, but
it was too late.
Just kind of got
ended up hitting him.
And the car snapped a little loose to the right, and instead
of
trying to save it, it's the front stretch. But trying to save it, instead of trying to save it, he decides to lock it down and keep as many cars as possible out of the wreck. As a few cars were up in the wall, also in front of him. But coming out of 2 here, yep, just hit a bump there, as you can see the car wobble.
Yeah, he was already past the point of no return.
To the right, just locks down the brakes.
Brad,
I don't think anybody hits him.
There's also going to be seeing Edwards slice his way to the inside.
Nobody hit him. Don't look like he's got damage, so we're good.
Locked it up, and I was nervous because he needed to release those brakes to get around the 78. And luckily, there was enough space for him to get on by. And another yellow, another slide, and something we haven't talked about here tonight because we really knew fuel wasn't going to be a big issue with the amount of cautions we're going to have, drivers going into pit road, and with the fact that drivers pitted, majority of them 10 laps ago, 30 laps ago, they're in the window making it to the end. Is tires. Drivers were given 4 extra sets of tires in pit road to utilize here this evening. Majority of the field has already used 2 sets. Some have used 3. And if you're coming down to the end of this race, we just entered the second half of this race. I mean, Richard, you would prefer to have at least one set to work with, but to have an extra one would be most optimal at the end of this race.
Well, it's definitely nice having an extra set of tires. So 1 set of tires right now is definitely something you would rather have coming close to this end of this race, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be more than one more caution before the end of this race happens. And we have a good potential of seeing even overtime racing as well. So having some fresh rubber, some fresh shoes in the pit lane for you to take later in this run when nobody else does, that could definitely change the fact of whether you finish outside of the top 10 or even
Granola feels like, and I know what an ant feels
as these drivers are stacked up, pace car lights are off. We're going to stand by. Again, we want to say thank you to the sponsors that help out with giving drivers racing and also helping out the leagues here. We want to say thank you to the title sponsor, VRS, Virtual Racing School. VRS has been an instrumental tool in developing champions across the sim racing world.
Correction, I'm going to try to maintain track position.
iRacing drivers, and it's been incredible to see how they've helped out just the casual drivers as well. Their mission is to help you develop into the best driver you can with their tools and knowledge to outperform and get your fullest potential. Go to VRS, that's Virtual Racing School today, and see how your potential can be risen. As down into turn number 1, it's going to be the Ying Yang drivers of Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, and trying to defend that Lucky Ducks Motorsports machine, the 88 of Seth Knoll, all over that 67 machine.
Over the back of the 67, trying to get back up in that second position. Ryan Kelly and Larry Yingling had a fantastic start to this restart here. Both of them shot up front. Larry Yingling doing a good job holding that outside line away from the 88 of Seth Knoll, but looks like he might be able to get a run here and get in front of him. No, he might be able to.
He's trying to finish you.
A drag race down the backstretch, chasing Ryan Kelly into turn 3.
Trying to go with that dive bomb move. Is there enough spacing? It doesn't look like it is.
Well, he's on old tires. No wonder he's slow.
But those older tires, the difference of around 20 laps between what the 67 has compared to others is trouble further on back. Looks like Cedric Hunter had a big slide, lost about 10 positions for the 13, but we stay green. Up front, Larry Yingling going to be one of those drivers that's fading back quickly. Also, other drivers deeper in the field. That's going to be the 8 machine Brian McCann. He's on older tires trying to survive. There's that puff of smoke from the 13 the lap prior. Looking at the older tires, Larry Yingling's done a pretty good job trying to hold in his position.
Not on older tires. Is that what he just said?
Turn into a real clog up moment.
He meant Chris Stintz.
That 67.
20-lap difference in tires is really starting to show. I knew tires are the better way, and taking care of them is the name of the game.
Everybody's having a problem getting around Larry.
Taking care of these older tires, but you got 20-lap older tires. It's definitely eventually going to just not go your way as everybody's starting to make their moves on him. As Vincent Soar is now looking to get around Larry Yingling as he's challenging Ross Tatum, as they got a little crazy just behind them as they're 3 wide.
That's going to be Zach Hall. That's going to be Brian Noel, as well as going to be seeing a few other drivers trying to get into the mix. Gavin Rogers is now going to be seeing Drew Jewell on the outside row. Drew Jewell into the outside wall as the 00 gets in line right in front of Nick Crawford. Crawford gets a tap, and both drivers a huge save into turn 1. And big kudos to the 00 with being shuffled up there, even with all the slight contact, keeps it off the wall as much as he could, and they continue to race on.
Racing on, and Gavin Rogers definitely looks like he's struggling a little bit, gets loose quite a bit out of the turns. He's stuck kind of on the inside right now, but he's still hanging on to that top 10. He's in 12th position right now, but they're checking up in front of him as they're going to go 3 wide. They're going to keep it 2 wide, but the 77 bounces off the wall almost down into the Gavin Rogers.
Big thing there. It looked like Zach Hall was trying to slow up because he knew he was going to run into the 24. Drew Jewell didn't recognize that position. Right into Hall, and they'll stay 3 wide. There's be a squeeze. They'll be tapped, and they'll be throwing each other all around, somehow keeping it straight. Oh, Fonseca. There wasn't a small rivalry that was building up at the end of last season. Doesn't look like it's over just yet, but caution flags out with the 00 going around.
Trying to gather it up after getting stopped.
Crazy set of moments right there. Wide coming
about 10.
With Alion Fonseca on the outside.
I want to save tires.
Looked like he got a little close for comfort there with Ollie, and then the 00 of Brian Noel just kind of drifted up.
Looks like it was drivers reacting to the fact of these drivers going side by side. We're going to look at this battle. It was drivers checking up the Brad Delph of the 72 and the 78 of Tanner. They ran into one another, and that's what officially brought the yellow. But it was all because of this incident.
If it goes green from here, though,
started and was kind of the catalyst.
I really want to save a set, but
not able to react as the 00 goes down into the grass. They continue to see Ollie Fonseca and Zach Hall beat and bang. The 72 slows down, but others did not.
Also, starting in the one there, Gavin.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars still going almost full speed around.
I want to save a set.
That's
my plan.
You need to start slowing down so you
Yeah,
don't get involved in the wreck and ruin
I need to stick to it.
as well.
Sorry.
Unfortunate to see for Brad Delph and the number 78 there.
So if I can pit somewhere around
best to try and keep
140-ish
calamity that was kind of happening.
and then have an extra set, that would be ideal.
What do you read there?
Shift it down to first.
130, 140, something like that.
Round going into pit road.
Violent.
As drivers were going into pit road to get service done, Cody Reed.
I looked back and I saw Cody backwards.
I don't know what happened. This is a bizarre moment for drivers as they were going into pit road. I mean, Richard,
I had a nickel.
I think the chances of it going green for
it looked like the transition got to Cody Reed.
80 laps is low.
Exactly what happened. He got on the brakes, got off the banking onto the flat apron there.
If I had a nickel for every time I was spun around in this race, I'd be a billionaire.
Left, he did a little bit of an overcorrect to the right, and it shot right up the track. So that shows you that going into pit road isn't the easiest thing all the time.
It also looks like it might have been also a downshift issue.
Right now, and he's just waiting.
Down from second to first, and just unsettled the car on top of that. Cody Reed going to be losing time, and also going to have to just hate the fact that the camera caught that. Usually you kind of get away with us watching replays. We'll miss some of those moments. So Cody Reed did not miss that one. But we hope to see you get moving forward. As up front, it's going to be drivers, Brian Kelly, Seth Knoll, going to be those in control, but taking the chance on tires. 25th on back, going to be led by Larry Yingling, Chris Stitz, Brian Noel.
Never, because I don't
think everybody's pretty much on my
computer, and I'm not a pedophile.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to 24th.
I'm curious for Larry Yingling, who's looked quick. He's had top 10 speed.
Well, that escalated quickly.
20-lap pressure tires. How well he can climb through this
Oh,
field.
you guys didn't know? Yeah, look it up.
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, he had to do something to
get ready.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Really starting to hurt
Damn.
his speed. But now we've got the two
Rick
drivers
Crawford,
that
the driver of
started
the
back in
14
field.
truck.
Vincent Sora has now joined the
Oh,
front.
yeah, I
as
do
he
know what you're
starts
talking
at
about
fifth
now.
place in the outside road 2. He's up here challenging, going to try and make it challenge for the win against Ryan Kelly.
Look, it's all three of
I got
our
a black
picks.
flag
We've got
for
Ryan
entering
Kelly
close
leading the
business
charge
for
of the
Lucky
pick and goal.
Can I
We've
get
also
that
got
wave?
Robert's pick of John Forbes and your pick, Vincent Sora, trying to find a way to get by this three-machine restart underway. Kelly looks strong. Everyone else will find their footing on the turn number 2. Get fresh tires going to be those that are further
No,
up
you're good.
down that
Tighten
27th
up.
position. But up front, everyone's on equal footing. 23 lap old tires. How well have you protected these tires? And how fast can you be as Noel as well as Force continue to fight side by side for second place?
I think the one thing that I've noticed from last season onto this one, Ryan Kelly, when it comes to tracks that require a lot of tire saving, he tends to do extremely well, and he is showing it here at Rockingham.
I heard that wall hit.
His speed is really rarely challenged, and when it is, he's still able to pull away from him even on these older tires.
Honestly, we've got back-to-back races where I feel like Ryan Kelly can be one of the biggest factors to watch out for. We've got Dover next week where Kelly's found great success. He's showing great success here tonight. This 3 looking incredible.
Knowing I'm not fast at this track, I'm just playing it safe.
That 21 of Ross Tatum, where has this speed been? We always knew that if Ross could kind of get the mud out of his back and be correct early, he could be a threat, and he is proving it here tonight.
I am driving
With the
a
challenge
wrecked
for the lead
bucket of
position.
fuck.
I think we're within 2 laps. Noel is starting to hit it.
I'm more watching them driving than
He looks quick.
Apparently my
Concentrating on
wrecked
what I'm
bucket
doing.
is a little bit
Pounce on
more
the 3.
pace. Shocking. 5.5
Find a way
miles.
to pounce for sure, but every time he makes a move, he doesn't have the run to get in front of Ryan Kelly to block off his momentum. Ryan Kelly is just making that outside work really well, getting that momentum
Apparently I have
around
no
that
brakes on
outside
it.
of the
Awesome.
lane, so when they get side by side, and the yellow flag is out for further back in the field.
Multiple drivers going to be involved. It's Ben King in the 98.
dude, I didn't even touch the car and it gave me a
spun
2X.
around.
is now open.
And it looks like it's trouble
Yeah, I had
between
to have it earlier. I got a
Ben
4X
and
randomly.
going to be Cody Reed going
Yeah, I
down
went by
into
that spinning
turn
car,
on
gave
the
me a
backstretch
2X,
heading
dude.
into
I
turn
was
number
gonna be
3.
lucky
A couple
dog
other
candidate.
drivers look like they might have gotten some net code contact, but it's Ben in the 98 who is one of those drivers who we love that he's in the league. He's growing, he's learning each season. He finally got on a team with being a part of Lucky Ducks. But here's one of those incidences where, I mean, I don't know if this is on Ben, this is on Cody, but we'll see here on this replay as they're on the backstretch when the contact is made. But Richard, I mean, if you're in this position, you have Cody Reed.
Top 15 stayed out. Some cars behind me went in.
With the wreck that he had going into pit road. Yeah, Ben, who's been riding in the back, taking it easy, and just
My plan is to pit somewhere around 130, 140.
Like from a different angle, like Cody Reed might have came up the track a little bit, but Ben Keeney then gets tagged by the 14 as he was just sitting there locking the tires down, doing exactly what a driver
Lucky
should
dog,
be doing.
21 laps down,
But
coming high.
unfortunate to see for Ben Keeney, it has been great seeing his improvement over these seasons, and yeah, they just kind of came
And then save my
together
last set in
going
case
into
the late
turn.
caution comes out.
And it's just unfortunate to see just getting to that quarter panel, then just the cherry on top there with the hit on the front end.
yeah, that late tag wasn't great to see. As drivers now going to come into pit road, get damage repair for majority of them that sit in the back. Some
But you
drivers
figured
that
it
have
out
been
last to
repairs
first.
done that we haven't really talked about. I want to give kudos to Joshua Corner in the 2. We saw him trying to lock it down, avoid Tanner in the 78 earlier in a wreck. A driver we haven't talked about, David Medina Sr. in the 20 machine. He runs
Talking to Ryan up front in the lead.
actually 6 positions
line
where
up
he
on the inside
qualified.
row.
And with all the wrecks, all the calamity, we talked about
He literally went last to first.
29th and looking like a pretty pristine vehicle.
He hit the wall
because
on both laps
the
of his
later this race
qualifying.
gets in, the more calamity he's going to have it up front. You might be able to steal a couple.
Started dead last.
Away. Also, Justin Malarkey in 30th. Mark Morales, he had his incident with Ken Campbell. He runs back in 31st and trying to make their charge forward the best that they can.
You see here with Christopher Wade here, and the number 53 machine got some damage on that right front still. But like Ross Tatum said earlier, the damage he had on his nose really didn't affect him much either. But Ken Campbell, some major front end damage from some earlier wrecks as well. That's a lot of damage here. That actually might be affecting how that car handles, whether it's driving tight or loose, or just does not have that top end speed to be able to compete with the other ones.
Oliver Segu, who we saw being up front in the top 10 earlier on, he runs in 38th position. As drivers are about to go green, their pace cars in turn number 3 and 4.
Green flag, green flag.
Kelly, steering control vehicle on the outside. Ryan Noel going to be on the inside group. Tatum following in suit. Where do you go? Where are your allies? Everyone collecting up as they get bumps to each other. It's Kelly with a good launch. He's already clear. And Tatum, that 21, is just trying to roll the top. That's where he's been all night long, and it seems to be his comfort position. Question is, can he stay to the outside of this 88 who's looked mighty comfortable on the inside so far? These late couple of runs. This big diving move by the 88 of Noel. He's trying to block the 21 of Tatum. Tatum has to drop to the inside crossover move, and now here comes Drew Jua into the fight.
Clear high.
Gaining thing.
His teammate, Ross Tatum.
I thought they were wrecking.
He is right in that middle lane, right next to those two. Going to have a pretty decent run.
So I just went low and sent it.
And he gets a slight bump from the 77 Drew Jua there as they go into turn 3. And now John Forbes is showing his nose back to these guys and trying to drive to the inside of Drew Jua.
Trying to make big moves, and these braking points these drivers have, they are trying to be so late. If you cut someone off, they're most likely going to bump you, and that's exactly what happened to Tatum and Drew Jua. Just slight bumps on the entry of the corner. They keep together, keeping it off the wall. And now John Forbes Jr. just has to sit and wait. Where will the one go? Because the placement of where he's going to be and slight contact can happen in front of him. Going to be irritating. And there's contact for the 32 with Zach Hall into the outside wall. Hall, gotta be careful. That outside wall, he's gonna hurt you if you continue to beat and bang too many times.
Clear low.
Collective damage is going to be detrimental later on as Forbes thinks for another chance to the inside, but also the lead position. Kelly is back to being under fire by a Sentinel who still is attempting lap after lap to go to the inside, but there's just not enough of a big run off the exit to enable this 88 to complete the pass.
Sentinel was able to get up and catch Ryan Kelly each and every single one of the laps. The heat transfer from these tires with all these cautions have probably helped them be able to keep them ready and race ready for this, but Ryan Kelly is now protecting that inside line from Sentinel, so I think there's something there that Ryan Kelly is seeing. The Sentinel is going to get that run down the front stretch from having that high line. He's going to challenge him, dive into turn 1. He's going to try to make the pass on a Ryan Kelly, but he's not quite clear. They're still side by side.
Kelly slight pushes the wall. He's going to tap it, but the big wiggle, that was from 2 laps ago, and now this lap, and there was the opportunity, I think, for Noel. He kind of was showing a fake hand, trying to force Kelly to go down low and enable the 88 the massive run off the exit of turn 4. And Noel back and forth, pick your poison. The 88 is back to the lead position, and Kelly's got to reassess. Where can he find this extra speed? Because the 88 just looked more dominant in clean air, but other drivers in the long run, that's where the 21 is at its strongest, is when we're about 30 laps into a run, which we're about to be entering into.
Deleted it up 24.89.
Washings gets up into the draw. A lot of cars getting up into that outside wall out of 4 there. Just a slight tag for each of them, but it was a good 3 or 4 tagged. Ross Tatum is now being challenged for that 3rd position, but he is up there sitting pretty, trying to aim and wait for his moment to pounce, make his way to the front again. We're right along here with the number 9 Shane Tarian, who has made his way back up through the field after being involved in some runs early.
And I think the big reason we're seeing more drivers marching to the top side. Again, when we started this race, the track temp, 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Richard, it is ballooned out to an insane 127 degrees Fahrenheit. The air temperature has also risen to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It has just gotten warmer and warmer as the race has gone on, and I think that's why we're starting to see these wiggles, these big slides, moves that would have worked maybe earlier on in the race, just not working anymore, and the outside needs to be where you go.
That's not something we see as the track warming up. Typically, we see the track cooling off, but to jump up to 127-degree track temp is insane. Then he's going to cook these tires. As Shane Tarian gets a small bump from the 27 machine there, but nothing too big. Just a small little tap as they go into the turn. Shane Tarian still doing a great job riding back there in the 9th position, just behind Nick Crawford in front of Jared Thomas.
And now we're in a weird spot with so many drivers rolling on the outside. It just is very tempting to ride that yellow line through the corners and think that you can maybe make a pass or two, but everyone's so clogged up with one another. There's no spacing. You're going to slide in front of another driver and make a pass. Drivers are really struggling to make any move forward, and if you try to even make a pass, you might lose a position, like we're seeing here for John Forbes. He dove to the inside, got in front of the ball, and now going to be seeing John Forbes' teammate Vincent Sora going for an attempt on the inside, but big slide for the 51.
Slide for the 51 is going to allow Zach Hall
made
to
a
pass
severe
on the
continuous
outside.
lapse of my judgment.
Starting to lose ground. He made his way up through the field, but I think he's struggling a little bit on those tires as Nick Crawford is now up on his bumper. Vincent Sora starting to falter and fall back into this field.
Update on drivers that got fresh rubber just about 20 laps ago. That's Chris Stitz, Larry Yingling. They've really not been able to move their way forward as efficiently as I thought they were going to with having a...
Oh, Chris Stitz has new tire. Oh, so the people behind me have new tire.
This race goes green. With how hot this track is, let's be a little bit more patient. Chris Stitz up to 19th position. When they started this run, they were back around 25th place. They've gained a few spots, but not as much as I would expect. This long into a run with the tires all have been up to 10 to 17. He wants to utilize these tires. He's got to get rolling quickly, but he's running similar pace to those ahead of him.
Yeah, he's got to figure out how to utilize those newer tires to gain some ground, as he is the highest, like you said, highest one with newer tires. Riding back here with the number 73.
Got one outside. All clear, all clear.
I was looking at the red car and right myself.
Keeping up with Larry Yingling right up on his bumper. Cody Reed right in front of him as well.
Oh, Nico Garcia in front of the field, collecting multiple drivers, and it's another big one. 4, 5, 6, and more collecting through as another late caution comes out.
Late caution, ping pong balls through the field there.
I was watching other cars and not my car.
Inside the outside walls.
But I think the red car came down and hit me anyway.
So this might be a chance for the entire field to get new tires as well.
Telling me the passenger rank?
That sucks.
Over 50 laps up to this race.
That was going to be around the 71 at Nico
Yeah,
Garcia. He was headed for number 2, just snapping loose right there as he was side by side with Douglas Newbegin. He'll come down and clip
Right, problem
Edwards.
straight, Cedric.
And just one of those things where Bladen Edwards was trying his best to stay high and avoid this wreck, but the aggressive side-by-side racing gets to the 71, just throttles it up, and there's no way of catching this machine at this late in a run. I mean, maybe jabbing the brakes, but that's in front of the field. Collects the 26. Other drivers get hit, and then the 26 comes down into Brian McCann. That's where you collect more drivers out of this incident.
He came down into me, but I was sliding anyway. I could have locked my tires up.
Right as he was trying to dodge it and just head
and maybe not spun.
Outside walls. There's probably going to be some good damage.
7 minutes, we're done.
Well,
oh man!
Just coming out of turn 2, Nico Garcia gets a little loose and just unable to save that car. Gets into the wall, dives down low, and then just spins it around, involving a few other cars as well.
Third driver to be out of this race. It looks like more internet connection issues. It hits Samuel Garcia. Add Christopher Wade. Drop of packets. He's out of this session currently. We'll see if that 53, as he was on the lead lap, now goes 1 lap down. He was getting damage repair. That's a tough pill to swallow for the 53 team, who looks like he'll be back in 38th position. As another cluster of drivers into pit road to get tires for themselves. Top 9 will be staying out on older tires with Brian Noel,
Is it 2 to go?
Ryan Bird, Cody Reed, Larry Yingling, Justin Malarkey, Andrew Medlin, Brad Delph, Joshua Corner, and David Medina Sr. Going to be those 9 drivers that stay out. Seth Knoll, Ryan Kelly, 10th and 11th on this upcoming restart with 50 laps to go here tonight. Drivers are stacking up. Again, we want to say thank you to some of these sponsors. GTR Simulators. GTR Simulators is your place to go if you want to find yourself racing, having your own rig at home that feels like you're racing on the pro level. Remember, when
see if it even drive.
Promo code WSSR.
Be mindful, you only have one set of cards remaining.
It feels real bad.
We're going green next time.
$100 or more
line up on the inside road.
I'll probably have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to
Miss out on your chance to upgrade your rig and race like the pros. So I want to say thank you to Trophy
my car's all
Smack,
kinds of messed
our
up.
provider
And Josh,
since
so
season
when the green
4.
comes out,
Crazy
he'll
to think we're in
Seven,
season 11 now. Originally, it was championship rings,
I'm not that
and we
too.
went to
Let's be
championship trophies.
All right, man.
Guess what? They've got
8
more
cars
trophies.
in.
You can check
Yeah,
out.
still got like
Customized or
minutes
pre-made.
Green
Gives
flag,
you
green
rings,
flag.
belts, and more to be seen. Thank you to TrophySmack.com. Use the promo code WSSR for 10% off at TrophySmack.com. Green flags on the air. Noel with a little bit of a wiggle and a slide, and Ryan Bird going to be taking advantage on the inside for the 49. But here's the run off the exit of the corner. It's Noel with a huge run off the exit. If he can keep it straight, and he does. They drag race and oh, trouble in the back. Oh, it's the corner, collecting a few others.
Ryan got it.
Like that's looking to be Ross Tatum involved. As we stay green, they're still piling. Now Nick Crawford around and let chaos reign all around this field.
Man, Ross Tatum involved in that spin on the back stretch. A strong run from him could have potentially been ended early, but after that, wrecking going into turn 3 as well, involving Nick Crawford as he spins around. And just a crazy start as these guys are still trying to spin it out to get straight.
How can you get forward? You can see there they were already 3 wide. The 2's going to be on the outside. They squeeze off the exit, stacked 4 wide. That's not going to work.
I've seen this car in track on the
So I
race
saw
better.
the 71, and I went low. Let me look at my throttle here. I was on the brake.
The problem in
And
the
he
track of
gets
the car.
set sideways.
Well, I
That was
mean,
the
a
second
little bit of
issue
the car,
that popped up, and there's been also involved. And here's going to be
I see now
combo.
the 26 hit the wall.
See how the 74.
I think I started to correct it right
Cleanly as he can,
here. I started to save it.
Make their way through.
Yeah, you can see how the front goes back left, but 26 came down and got me.
Around Keeney with locking it down and just shuffled them to the inside. And those were 2 separate incidences that brought out our current caution we're in.
Yeah, 3 wide doesn't work very well at Rockingham, so that just goes to show 4 wide definitely does not work. 2 4-wide situations in the same lap on the same straightaway at that, and 2 separate wrecks with that as well. Just goes to show 4 wide at Rockingham, probably not the smartest thing to do, and an unfortunate end to a strong run for Ross Tatum. He can still probably get back out there. Didn't look like he had a lot of damage on that car, but it's going to be a mountain to climb to get back up to this field.
Yes, there's rain in the area.
So far, as we've ran 32 laps under caution.
I get my car fixed. Just go out there and clock off laps.
Racing so far, and you know, with the way that we were,
it's good that they keep having yellow here so I can get it fixed without going down major
I
laps.
think we were expecting more cautions already at this point. 133 laps in. How quick the restarts have been. I mean, at this point, we could have had 17 to 21 cautions
So it's 1 to go.
already.
I don't want to go back
really
out.
maxed
The
out our
car's still going to be
cautions
really
being thrown,
broken.
But we've had some decent long runs. This has been pretty pleasant of a Rockingham race to see with some great racing.
I'll fix it all, then go out.
Middle, it's just tight squeezing moments and times of contact that have brought out these yellows.
Yeah, there's been some fantastic green flag runs they've had tonight. So 12 cautions for 100.
Yeah, I just want to know how Shane's hands are doing on that controller.
It isn't too bad for a Rockingham race, regardless of the drivers that are in the race. But they're doing a great job. And like you said, there should have been a lot more than just 12.
Does the controller vibrate over the bumps, or do you not feel it at all?
Controlling their car and getting it back under control. So seeing only 12 with the amount of cars that have been wiggling and wobbling, that can't be.
Do you have the controller on your lap when you go over the bump?
Absolutely not. We have lost another driver. We officially called it a night. That's going to be the 26 of Layden Edwards. His debut race, not the way he was hoping it would go. 38th position currently. I might lose a few more spots. Up front, it's Brian Noel. We saw that last restart, a little bit of wiggle for the 00. Much cleaner start this go around. Ryan Bird not able to keep up with the same pace. Cody Reed, Lee Engling going to be on the out, going to be behind them. Big dive.
Oh, another wreck.
The 88 is said Noel doesn't want to wait for anyone.
Okay.
They're already going to be a stack 2 wide, almost 3 wide, as Vincent Soar with a big run through the middle of the pack. And oh no, Malarkey back in front of the field. Oh no, another caution and wreck bound to come out as they continue to pile in. More drivers collected.
Family Guy
And that's another huge wreck to begin.
Oh, Justin Malarkey getting loose out of turn 2. The problem turn, especially on cooler tires, on restarts, just gets loose coming out of turn 2 and spins so ever slowly back in front of the field. Vincent Sora almost not involved in it. He was slowing down to get around Malarkey, but then gets hit from behind, which kind of pushes him into the incident. And then just cars going everywhere involving a few others. Zach Hall as well, a car that was involved in this wreck.
And we kind of have seen similar wrecks like this happen where you give a chance to maybe save yourself. There's the big jump to the 88 Noel. He was trying to get by that 70 machine, but you're going to see here by Malarkey, there are multiple different ways that he could have escaped out of this wreck without more wrecks. The tap of the 80 is frustrating, but he gets sent to the outside, and at this point, you try to just lock it down and hope you don't drift back up. But he's got too much momentum. It sends him back to the outside, collects Zach Hall.
7 minutes repair.
Vincent Sore and others that were a part of that initial just slide up of trying to save the vehicle that collects way more than we were expecting. As here's another look at it, the 51 and others just trying to save as much as they can. I think I want to take another outside look. There really wasn't much that Malarkey could do. Initially, I thought maybe he could have saved by locking it down there, but there was just so much traffic heading his way. And then it's just the extra pileups of more drivers coming in. That's Colby DiCarlo, who really got
laps to go
around
on the pace car.
Got more drivers involved, and just tough to see all these drivers being tossed around, and that is the
like
one
to green here.
John Forbes also involved with this incident.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars there coming into turn 3, just all of them still at full speed, it seemed like, and just last-minute decisions finally start slowing down as they all dove to the outside wall to try to get around this, but there were cars already out there.
Might be able to get out this time. 1 minute left.
Around, got up into Vincent Sore, and there it is, the pile.
8 laps down.
Just inside of turn 3, and that's John Forbes.
I got a chance.
A lot of damage of that #1 machine for our prior season champion.
I mean, we talked about last week just slightly how John Forbes is trying to break the curse of the championship #1. Zach Hall attempted it. They brought that in as a new edition of, if you're a champion the previous season, you have the right to pick the one car the next, the one number, I should say. And for Zach, it was a tough one to grab that go around. There wasn't much the one could do. I mean, everyone just closing in right into one another, and just like that, we've got ourselves another restart, an attempt here as we're closing in on 40 laps to go here tonight. It's going to be Brian Noel, going to be that 00 Ryan Bird. They continue to attempt to be up front. This is helping those older tires keep position for longer in this race. Only problem, watch out for that third car on the outside. That's that double. That's going to be the 88 machine of Seth who's going to be pressuring forward. Drew Jua also going to be one of those drivers watching out for. Jared Talmadge. They're back, 7th on back, fresh rubber, and willing to attack. Into the very start zone, we are great. Another great launch for the 00 Ryan Bird. Much cleaner start for himself, as we're already 3 wide back around that row #4.
Yeah, 3 wide back and 4. These drivers seem to have not observed anything. They are Ryan Bird. A little bit of contact for the lead. Ryan Bird gets shot down low, but he keeps it straight as they pile up again. 3 wide in the third 3.
Trying to hold steady as Larry Yingling off the exit of the corner. He'll be pressuring for the lead position. Everyone scattering for the positions they can grab here early on. Yingling down low. Talmadge going to be following. Also the 88 of where Noel will go as Brian Noel in a 00 trying to hold steady. Everyone wheel spinning off the exit of the corner, and they're almost a stack 3 wide down into turn #3. Noel bounces into the wall, trying to utilize to keep position. Yingling slides in front, and there's another sliding wreck on Talmadge. Noel, let's add a few out of the outside. Another big wreck. Hey, what's another caution to be added as it's more drivers up front piling in.
Sorry, Seth.
You can look at the laps complete. You can tell it's near the end of the race with the aggression these drivers are showing.
A little bit lifted on the front right.
Space they are not giving each other, as they were fighting tooth and nail for that lead position.
9 laps down.
Of course, I was looking to my right when they started crashing, so I'm sure I'll get an arc break for that one.
Pushed a little bit by Seth Knoll, and Jared Talmadge got spun sideways and down the track. Collecting a lot of cars behind him. Huge damage for a lot of drivers midfield.
I think Yingling, who got loose, drifted up and kind of started that wreck.
I don't know why we're doing that.
Got through as cleanly as he could. I look at this wreck again as we try to get these drivers. You're seeing the chaos, the pushes they're going for. Jared Talmadge, he's got
I get to be the camera car now.
Push with Noel in that 88 machine. Yingling's been looking really rough on these older tires off the exit of the corner. He's been wiggling every other lap, and you see drivers get into the outside wall. There's the wiggle, the contact into the outside wall, and then everyone surrounds him, and it kind of clears up as he taps the wall, gets a push from Thomas Green. Green doesn't survive, but Yingling does.
Gotta be a rabbit's foot in the tailpipe of Larry Yingling.
How's the
His
bucket of buck
looseness is
back
what
there in
really
13,
caused that incident. but gets out with just a little push on the rear
still
end there. That's
one
it.
hell of a bucket
He's
of
got
puck,
a little bit
but
of cave in
slightly
on that
less
rear
fun.
bumper, but Larry Yingling, as clean as you could possibly get, gets through the wreck that he kind of started. And is still sitting pretty up there in the top 5.
He might have traded in one of his 3 WSSR championships for that lucky moment. That was a wild thing to see from the 3-time champ.
Gotcha.
As Yingling will be in 4th. We're right on board with our season 1 champ, Brian P. Johnson. He rides in 5th. I mean, this is one of those things where you're surprised on drivers making it through. And there's the slight contact that was given on the rear right quarter panel where the 67 is. That's where Thomas Green just pushed the 67 through that wreck, and he'll continue to race.
Oh, I got somebody to race. I got the car in front of me.
We're going green next time by.
Position,
All right,
but
man,
he's got
line up on the inside row.
Mr. 9 laps down.
Returning driver who started 2nd, Shane Terrian, going to be in that 2nd place position with Drew Jua 3rd. 4th is Larry Yingling. 5th is Brian P. Johnson. And I haven't brought up this fun stat that I found when I was doing the research for tonight's race, because I'll wait until the end of the race to throw it out there. Richard, we've ran here 2 times in the past, and both drivers that have won this race started in 2nd position. That's where Shane started back in season 7 when he won this race. We'll see if we can find that match once again. The only stat, though, that he might miss out on is the driver that won the race also led the most laps. So Shane needs to get up front quickly and start leading some laps if he wants to continue the trend of the driver who starts in 2nd, leads the most laps, and wins at the Rock.
Get ready.
He definitely does, but he's definitely in a very strong position with fresher tires and right up front to make it happen, especially with Brian Noel on 20-lap older tires than him. But also, we got Cody Reed up there in the 6th position. Also, he's made his way back up through the field for business.
Green.
It doesn't look too bad from here.
Ooh, a lot of scares, a lot of hopefulness that their race isn't over. We're starting to see some new faces cracking at the top 15. As green flag is back in the air, old tires, Brian Noel is staying outside. Pushing and banging, going to be happening on the inside crew. That's the 9 machine of Shane Terrian. Also Drew Jua, as they're trying to make the inside row work as quickly as they can. Noel with the better run, and momentum with riding on the outside, but Terrian finally clear for 2nd. This is the chance for the 9 to take that lead position as Brian Noel just utilizing that wall to straighten himself out and off the exit of the corner.
Terrian will take the lead and lead that lap
He 100% should get that clear.
Getting into the wall. And Shane is just rolling it into these curves. He's going to rip up the track. He's got to get in front of Brian to be able to block the run, and he will. Drew Drew is also side by side with his teammate as well as he's going to try to chase down Shane. Now, the definite leader of this race here.
Y'all can review it, but I got loose in front of me that high.
Starting 2nd place and coming home with the win.
Thank you about that. Shane Terrian looks good on those fresh rubber in the first about 10 to 15 laps. It was the long run where he was struggling the most. It was really falling away. This is our first true sense of what speed the 77 has up front. That's Brian Noel. I mean, seeing how well the Brian's can fight around one another. You got Noel, you got Johnson, and also the driver who's dominated this race so far, Ryan Kelly, now going to be in 5th position. Where can he slot his way forward? And what a redemption run for the 7 at Douglas Newbegin. We're closing in on the final 30 laps of tonight's race. This is a beautiful return for the 7 that missed out on stage bonus points, but could redeem himself with a good finish at the end of this race.
This has been a fantastic recovery run from him as they're going 3 wide, almost gets into the quarter panel of Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly got into Brian P. Johnson there a little bit, got hit a little loose on the front stretch. As they're going 3 wide again, these drivers are definitely knowing the laps are counting down, the end is coming near. Brian Noel gets a little loose out of 2, but they're clear of the 3 wide, and Ryan Kelly clearly up in 3rd position now.
All clear.
That was the picture-perfect moment that Kelly could have asked for as Johnson had to back out of it with the big wiggle he had out. It's going to be Douglas Newbegin stuck in a similar situation. Can he get the same luck to push through the middle and get by 0 to 28? As for Brian P. Johnson, this is going to be frustrating on the fact that he's got fresher tires, but just can't get by the 0. They continue to stay 3 wide, and Johnson backs out, and he continues to lose time as Noel allows his teammate to go on by, but into the wall right in front of Crawford. Noel, huge damage for the 0 as he somehow continues to keep pace.
Massive smack against the wall for the 0 Brian Noel, but that will allow Brian P. Johnson to finally get around the 0. Now Brian P. Johnson can get a run and try to catch the drivers in front of him that he's lost.
Deleted to
Ross Tatum, he has recovered and is up to 8th position after that spin on the backstretch.
And also, you see Ross Tatum, you see behind him as well, there's the one machine. Caught up in the last big one. John Forbes, last season's champion. Yes, he was stuck. Yes, he was hit multiple times. But Forbes, with some of the freshest tires of anyone, even with the damage he's collected, he's on the hard charge to run down our front runners.
Great recovery from John Forbes as well, getting massive. One of those big wrecks in turn 3, and he is making a recovery run.
They are stacking up big.
Edge trying because he's got the freshest tires out of all of them. We got Gavin Rogers back here, some major damage to his front end as well as he's back at the 13th. Not having the strongest
I'm taking his air away.
See him do, but he's still holding on, still a decent finishing position with this field, especially with that front end.
Got one inside.
It's just a wall that's starting to build up behind the 67 Larry Yingling. Yingling on 50 lap tires. Cody Reed on the outside with 50 lap tires. Everyone else 11 lap tires. They got fresh rubber. Drivers
that ain't gonna work.
Damage. They just cannot feel comfortable to go with these dive bomb moves and utilize their rubber, except for that one right there. Tanner pushes it down low, gets into Cody. Cody with the drift, overcorrects, but a little bit of assistance. Still, oh no, Cody barrels head for the 25, and he's gonna be done. Takes off.
I could not see what that car that was half spinning
and for Cody,
doing.
Oh man, a frustrating time when forced 3 wide, spun around, thought he was saved. Not gonna be the case. Here's a replay of what just happened as the 78 took no regard, saw the momentum, forced it 3 wide, and said, oh, whoever gets taken out, they get taken out.
Yeah, 78 driving down to the inside, dive bomb move to the 72, and I don't think Cody Reed was expecting. He was trying to pitch a 72 down, but Cody Reed just unable to control the car, just keeps getting hit, spun, and straight into the pit barrels. A heavy hit that breaks that right front. That is probably going to be race ending for Cody Reed.
Cody Reed has taken it to pit road. He looks to be completely out of this race, and we set our sights further up ahead as Shane Terrian currently charging up, saving his tires. He's got almost a little bit under a half a second gap lead over Drew Chua. Ryan Kelly a little bit over a second away from the 9 machine in 3rd. Douglas Newbegin in 4th. He's about a little bit over a second and a half back. So our top 4 still within striking distance if they can find the quick pace, but the laps are not being their friends. We are closing in on 20 laps to go. Ryan Kelly, he's got some traffic ahead of him, but the 3 is trying his best to move forward. As you look at other drivers and where they line up, here's John Forbes as well as Ross Tatum. 7th on back. They are trying everything as they can.
The screen, another one of those drivers with some major damage in one of those wrecks is up here, sitting just inside the top 10, running in 10th position, chasing down the Ford Colin Carroll. So these guys have had a great recovery run with all this damage they've acquired. Doing a really good job up here in the top 10. We've got Joshua Kanata challenging back there in the 12th position. Trying to get around Brian Noel with all his damage and the old tires as well. So the number 4 looking low on Ross Tatum, trying to get around him, make that pass. He's right up on his bumper. He's going to.
Larry's still on old tires, 56 lap old tires. Because he's only got 1 left, I believe.
Follow in line on the outside.
Colin Carroll, probably one of the funnest rookies to watch after last week's race at Daytona, with all the moves he was trying to make, trying to be the control vehicle and diving everywhere. This is awesome to see from the 4, who's up 20 positions from where he started here tonight. It's been great to see some of these rookies showing great mental fortitude, and honestly, Colin Carroll already just a 2 races like front runner for Rookie of the Year as he's trying to hold back some top contenders of Thomas Green, Ross Tatum. The damage showing on all 3 drivers, and they continue to fight back and forth as Thomas Green doesn't want to just sit back. He's willing to attack. It's the freaky fast 31.
Does a great move, a shoot to the inside, and is able to clear Colin Carroll very cleanly and quickly through the turn. That is the move you want to make when trying to make a pass. And now he's going to get right back up to Ross Tatum. These two have been racing around each other almost all race. These two, great competition and great racing between them. But now Thomas Green wants to take that position away from that of Ross Tatum and get his chance to get up there to the top 5.
We got to move up to the battle for 2nd place. It's like for Drew Chua, he's hit his limit. Those tires are floundering. He is not able to hold the same grip and pace that he once was about 10 laps ago. Ryan Kelly, on the other hand, he is one of the fastest drivers out on track. The other fast driver, Douglas Newbigin, issue. He's a second back as well.
Ryan needs to go get it.
Ryan Kelly just risking it with that slashing move to get to the outside and through 1 and 2.
He moved up in the second.
Positioning moments, the outside so preferred on exit turn 2 to get these big runs.
I
And now
my
Shane
previous
Terry
statement
looks
about
in
the
his
black
mirror.
flag.
The 3's getting closer, and now it's just about 3/10 the difference between first and second. But also keep your eyes out on the 7 of Douglas Newbigin. If he can keep that nose clean and continues at this pace and rate, he might start to catch up and be a 4th driver in the mix for the battle for the lead.
Yeah, if you're Shane Terrian, that is the car you do not want to see in your rearview mirror. Ryan Kelly, he has been the fastest driver on long runs, and he is pulling it still. These two drivers sitting on 36 lap roll tires, and Ryan Kelly looks like he has fresh shoes on that car. He's making a fantastic pass for Shane Terrian, and he just has like 10-mile-an-hour more speed down the front stretch as he's going to make the pass for the lead on Shane Terrian, and he'll take it coming out.
Ryan got it.
That was the big weakness that we saw early in this race. Was curious if he could maybe learn from those early mistakes of Terrian on the long run pace. He just could not figure it out. Instead, redemption. Ryan Kelly has looked dominant, but the 7 of Douglas Newbigin gets by Drew Jua, now up into 3rd, and it's been the difference going back and forth between Ryan Kelly, Douglas Newbigin, and John Forbes Jr. Those have been the 3 fastest drivers here in the last 10 laps. And Kelly's got fresh air. That's a big issue for the 7 of Douglas Newbigin, but Newbigin is putting the pressure and trying to run down this 9, coming up to 13 laps to go.
That's the downside about Newbigin right now is he's got to tear these tires up to try and have a chance to catch Ryan Kelly. And the question is he going to tear them up too much? Or when he does,
There he's hurting right now with old tires.
We have enough resources to make the pass. As we are closing on this race, 13 laps to go, 12 as they cross the line as they come out of turn 4 here. But he's still got to get around Shane Terrian, and that's not going to be a super easy feat as well. He's got a lot of speed, but he's got to get the momentum down a straightaway so we can make that dive move into a turn and make that pass nice and clean.
Wow,
in front of him out of the
went around there.
Spend too much time side by side.
And if we look at the past, again, only have ran here twice in the last 10 seasons in the WSSR VRS Cup Series, and there has not been one time we've had to go to overtime, but there is still a lingering chance as Douglas Newbigin, big sliding move to the inside and finally going to be clear. Let the race be on. 11 laps to go. The difference, 1.1 seconds between Ryan Kelly and Douglas Newbigin, and Newbigin going to have just a few moments of fresh air, maybe save these tires for a quick moment, and then it's attack mode for Ryan Kelly. Curious on what he's been doing for his tires, if he's been trying to just build this gap, or is he thinking about saving his tires for these final 10 laps? But ultimately, again, we've seen late cautions in the past here in the WSSR VRS Cup Series. Richard, I know the leaders are crossing their fingers and hoping that we stay green, but a yellow could be looming with how close the middle of the field is on top of one another.
Well, yellow will definitely turn this race on its head, and we might get it. We got a huge shut in the back of the field, but Nico Garcia able to keep it straight. Got a huge hit from the 88, but they're keeping it straight. But Ryan Kelly just keeps increasing his lead over Douglas Newbigin. Douglas Newbigin does have 8 lap more tires than him, but he used a lot of that resource to try to get around his teammate of Drew Jua and then Shane Terrian. So Douglas Newbigin is trying to find whatever he's got. If he can find some grip around the track, he might be able to gain some ground on on Ryan Kelly. But right now, with only 8 laps to go as they cross the line, this race could look like it's Ryan Kelly's to lose.
And the battle going on for 4th and 3rd place now underway as John Forbes Jr. has gotten into the mix to try to get by those drivers. Also the battling for 6th position as Nick Crawford trying to assess if he can get by Thomas Green or if Green's just not a fight that he can get by. And some of those other incidents that you were talking about of close racing action, the drivers around 20th back to around 24th, they are getting very close to one another and they are getting antsy. If we're going to see a caution, it could be around that 20th, that 21st to 23rd position mark, or it could be from up front as John Forbes Jr. big slide for himself. Shane Terrian as well, right in front of Drew Jua.
Got to do it. Look to get a little loose, but they're keeping it straight. A lot of momentum lost,
it's
though.
all good.
And
I have
John
a broken right front
Forbes
anyway, so I
up to third
I have to check
place.
it first,
He's got
otherwise I
newer
can't make the
tires
corner.
than Adam Douglas and Ryan. So he is trying to put the gas where he needs. Put nitro mode on that car to catch those guys, but he is 3 seconds behind.
One outside.
It's looking
clear high,
rough.
clear high.
Forbes get out there and try to win this race, but
Go
no
there,
tires,
hold
it's
your line.
still possible.
You're clear high,
5 laps
clear
to go
high,
when they cross the line this
outside.
time.
The leader just did
Yeah, I don't know if winning the race is going to be the
25.6.
key thing. Is contact actually going to be made between second and
clear
a
high,
lap
clear
car
high.
as Douglas Newbegin getting into the 22. Looks like going to be seeing how well can
Rockingham,
Carlos
Thomas.
get passed by drivers as he was stuffed in the outside wall by the 7. Now we're ready to go as battling for 4th place. Drew Hua falls back in the 31.
Larry got shuffled all the way to 27th.
Still going to be around one another as Jared Tolman stays high. Let's Kelly drive on by.
He's hating he didn't take those set of tires.
Here go Ryan Kelly. He has been the dominator. Now make it 4. I mean, Richard, this has been one of those races in the past.
There's a wreck.
Season 8, season 9, when Ryan Kelly showed that he was the fastest driver and he was the strongest in clean air. He was unstoppable, and oh no, there's the caution. Trouble in the back, and it's Shane Terrian in the 9.
Surely nothing bad
Shane
is about to
Terrian
happen.
in the 9, the 77 getting a little loose. Also,
let
they
me
all
tell you
track
that.
position is king.
up. Then Shane Terrian gets hit in the
Now, why
right
would
rear
you say
quarter
that,
panel,
Josh?
spun him sideways, and now Sam, this will be overtime here at Rockingham with only 3 laps to go in regular contention. And here we go, right along with the number 9, heading out of turn 2 on the backstretch is Drew Drua up there against the wall. He's just all sorts of.
That's a tough position, and Ryan's out. I mean, if he pits, there's going to be people who stay out.
To keep that car under control is in the wall in 3 and 4. Gets back up
Hits
into
the
the
wall
wall
again.
and 2.
Let the 20 car by. The race has been extended
Check
so
if
we
their
can have a
31
green
gets
watch
loose into the
finish.
77 to 77 down into Shane Terrian, and Shane just spun sideways on the track, gets it stopped. Hopefully no other wrecks, nobody piling in this time. He just keeps it in the center, backs it down when it's safe,
3,
and
2,
just a mild spin.
1.
But now
Right here.
drama for the end of this race.
I'm sorry.
And it is not over yet because with the drivers going across the line, some
good.
heading to pit road, we have officially entered
sorry, too.
into
That was just-
overtime.
I was trying to keep
we
it
have
off.
3
That was
attempts
just so
if
tight, just
needed.
plowing.
We are going
Even
into
if I backed it up,
overtime.
it was still
Technical
plowing.
number
It just
1. And we got drivers on old tires, those on new, and the biggest fear for our top 2, John Forbes is back in the mix. He's closer than ever, and we've seen drivers in the 2nd and 3rd row. If they can get a good
Good luck, Ryan. Go get him.
He will be in the fight for that lead position if the leader does not get a good exit out of turn 2. And now this makes things a little bit more.
Remember that tire spin.
There's a little bit of trouble for Shane Terrian exiting out of pit road, but he was already going to be starting deeper in the field, as it's going to be our top 16 drivers staying out on older rubber.
All right, man,
That's
we're
Ryan
going
Kelly,
green next time
Douglas
by.
Newbegin,
All right, man,
John
line up
Forbes
on the
Jr.,
inside
Nick
row.
Crawford,
Let
Thomas
the 20
Brady,
car
top
by.
5, and Drew Jua set with 6th.
Yeah, we're on
7th
there
is
now.
Brian P. Johnson, Ross Tatum, Vincent Sora,
Let the
Colin
15
Carroll
car
will be your
by.
top
Let
10.
the 90
Old
Can I get a
tires for
countdown?
themselves,
Car by.
it's
He had the
Andrew
position when the yellow
Bedlin
flag
in
came out.
16th.
I'm gonna warn everybody
Three,
here.
car by.
Each tire
Now make that
on the
judgment
yellow
out at
flag on.
16
It
with the
will,
freshest of tires.
That's an interesting call. That I was expecting to see a lot more drivers come down pit road.
I might as well just stay in the pits. Actually, I'm racing
Those past
for,
the top 10.
who's that? The number 2 car. I'm racing him for position.
Those 30, 15th on up, all on those old 37 lap or older tires.
Where's he at? Oh, he's right there.
So we'll
Okay.
see what those drivers back
I gotta
to
get by
16
him.
on the back,
No,
like
no,
Gavin
you got it.
Rogers, what they can do on new tires, they're going to have a lot more speed and a lot more grip. They might
real
get a
looking
chance
fun,
to
hasn't
break
been
into
real
the top 10.
He's got old
Get
tires. I
ready.
got new tires. Shouldn't be a problem.
Sooner, but we'll have to see as we have a green-white checkers coming up.
Green, white, checkered. It's pretty easy. You got 2 laps when we go green. If we get a caution under that first lap before we take the white flag, we go into overtime attempt number 2. But if we take the white
Green flag,
flag
green
and
flag.
it is officially 1 lap to go, this race
The right
comes
side
down to
is
who
in,
can
so we
cross
can
the
have a
line
green watch
first
ticket
and
finish.
win
All right, man,
Rockingham race
caution is
number
out,
2 of
caution is
season
out.
11.
Line up single
We
file.
are
Your road
green.
is closed.
Ryan Kelly
Let
going to
the
get the good launch for
two.
himself.
Hey,
But
go
watch
back
out
to
for others
the
behind.
time
It's already
on
around.
that
Caution's
one.
already
I think we started wrecking before the green
further on
was
back and even
thrown.
further up front.
I
Drivers
have no idea what's
continue
doing
to
about.
pile in on the entry of turn 1. And oh boy, welcome to overtime attempt number 2.
There was somebody back in here in about 25th who wrecked.
Just like the start of this race, they wrecked before crossing the start-finish line. and then further up into the path, they spin after the yellow was already out, but Zach Hall was involved in that wreck.
And look at the one of Martin Morales was that driver currently in 29th position. He tried to take off and go, and it didn't go the way that he was hoping, and went straight up into Zach Hall as the green flag was thrown.
in the back.
Reset us, stack us back up on this initial start.
I know you're good, man. I'm
the drivers on fresh rubber trying to get rolling. And we saw this on lap 1 at the start of the race. He just gassed it up, and it does not take off the way that you were hoping for, right in front of Hall. Also collecting slight damage from the 2. Talmadge locks it down because he doesn't want to get more damage involved. And then it's further up ahead. I don't know, Richard, if you saw what happened ahead of them, but that's what initially brought our yellow.
I did not see what happened in front of them, but yeah, that Mark Morales there, that just the tire spin, that's something you have to worry about on those restarts, because that car will just kind of turn right when that happens. But looks like the number 20
yes, it is the 20.
15. Yeah, he got involved with number 15, kind of going low, just gets a little loose, and just a small spin up the track. That's all that was.
And this is going to be one of those things where you go green, you're quickly going down into the corner, yellow flag is thrown, everyone's checking up, and contact is made with Ken Campbell and Dave Medina, and luckily I believe no one else involved. It was just another quick spin that happened there. Again, with the fact that we went green, no one's expecting it to go green, yellow,
back on track
right when you start a restart.
You definitely don't expect it to go right to yellow as soon as that green flag drops, so that's just confusion all around from all the drivers. But good job, great heads-up racing by majority of the rest of the field behind them, though, being able to dodge. We haven't seen a lot of that all race. It's been a lot of pile up into the cars in front of you.
All right, man, we're going
They've done a good job on that, being
man.
able to dodge and causing any more damage as they get ready to stack back up and re-rack for green-white checkered overtime attempt number 2.
Hey, with these quick restarts, as we look at our race report, 16 cautions. I know in the chat there's been a lot of discussions at the start of the race with so many cautions that were coming out. What was the true number going to be on yellows? Well, 16 is where we're at currently.
16 yellows.
We still have 2 with potentially coming out that could shake things up if we get another quick yellow.
I guess was 40.
Wants it to stay green for this next restart, so you can say that his guess was correct. As drivers are stacking up side by side, again, here's the way that overtime rules work. It is a green, white, checkered, 2 laps to go. We go green. If we stay green throughout this first lap, if we take the white flag, this race becomes official and it's about who can cross the line first. But if we get a caution under this first lap before the white flag, we will go into attempt number 3. Attempt number 3, there's slightly different rules. We'll talk about them if we need to go there.
Green, green,
Up
green.
front, it's Ryan Kelly as well as Nick Crawford. How well can they take off and go here? Second attempt in overtime is underway. Rest of the field hoping to keep it straight, but Kelly, immediate start. Huge run for himself. Over 3 car lengths ahead. Crawford and Forbes. Crawford able to blitz his way forward. Forbes throws it away. It's all Ryan Kelly ahead as a calamity further on back. But we stay green.
Oh, Ryan's got about a mile.
Still trying to keep it straight back there, but they're going around turn 3 and 4. Right now, the cars are keeping it straight, but Ollie Fonseca gets turned back there in the back. They're still green. Yellow does not come out. This race is official as Ryan Kelly leads them down to turn 1.
Ryan Kelly, he's been fighting for this chance to get back into victory lane. There goes Brian P. Johnson. He's going to be wrecking further on back. More drivers going to be involved with it. But Ryan Kelly, all on his lonesome as madness continues to collect. It's just the 3, all on his own. You dominate, you take the win. Kelly is back into victory lane in the WSSR FRS Cup Series. Congratulations on winning the Rock. As we continue to wait and see, more drivers are piling into one another. You got to be careful with all these late contacts as drivers are losing positions, losing time. And Richard, honestly, everyone from Kenpo back just kept running into one another.
Yeah, it was just a wrecking fest back there from 10th on back as they were coming to the line. But Ryan Kelly dominating the Rock and takes it to victory lane. A great run for the number 3 machine as he's going to celebrate in the grass. Congratulations to Ryan Kelly on winning for number 1 for season 11 of the VRS Cup Series.
It's been a great run for Ryan Kelly. It's awesome to see him get back into victory lane where he has shown he can be so
need to go
good,
back up in.
especially
I
with
was
these
leaving all the room I
next-gen
could.
cars. It's great to see him finally find
Like,
the
I was
success
fighting.
for himself.
whatever.
As the 3 is
Good race.
burning it
Good one,
down,
Kelly.
we will step
I don't
away when we come
drive
back.
that way.
We've got the post-race show. We'll talk
Just
more
have no
top
luck
3
anymore, I
and a
guess.
spotlight driver. We've got Ryan Kelly, John Forbes, Nick Crawford, and another driver. We will add to it when we come back after this.
I'm out later. See y'all next week. Wait a minute. I don't want to go back and watch any wrecks. There was too many of them. I watched mine.